Chapter 733. After leaving the area near the oasis, Lin Tian walked very far away not long after. He took out some healing Baodan from the stone ring and swallowed it. As he walked, he circulated the Sun Heart Sutra. His injuries quickly stabilized, and his divine power quickly recovered. He walked into the withered mountain range from another direction and prepared to leave this underground space at this time. After all, he came for the thing that emitted the divine light. Now, that thing was already in his body. Although it was different from what he imagined, he still found it. Moreover, he also obtained a blood-curing fruit, so this trip was not in vain. Walking in the withered mountain range, the ground was still wet. Stepping on it made a puffing sound, and the air was very cold. Whoosh! A dark light rushed over from the side. It was a stone earth spirit beast with 3 horns on its head. It looked very strange. Lin Tian flicked his finger, and the sword chi of heaven slashed past, directly shattering it. Brat, I suddenly remembered. You used the weapon-controlling technique before, right? Whooshing Crocodile suddenly asked. Lin Tian nodded. There was nothing to hide. Normally, many cultivators could see that it was the weapon-controlling technique. It really is that precious technique. Whooshing Crocodile nodded, then stuck his head out and stared at Lin Tiandao. This is a bit strange. Your surname is Lin, but it is not the same surname as the family that inherited the weapon-controlling technique. How could you know that precious technique? Do you have some special relationship with that family? Although they had not known each other for long, Whooshing Crocodile still knew Lin Tian's name from Lin Tian. At this moment, when talking about the weapon-controlling technique, he was a bit curious. Lin Tian heard this, and his footsteps couldn't help but stop. That family? You know where the weapon-controlling technique came from? The weapon-controlling technique was very powerful. This was without a doubt. However, he only knew that this technique came from the upper heavenly domain, but he didn't know which heavenly domain it came from. Basically, no one in the lower heavenly domain knew. Now that he heard Whooshing Crocodile say, that family, he immediately shivered. Obviously, Whooshing Crocodile knew where the weapon-controlling technique came from. You don't even know the family that inherited the weapon control technique? Seeing Lin Tian's expression, Whooshing Crocodile was stunned. It seemed that Lin Tian had nothing to do with the family that inherited the weapon control technique. He didn't know anything about that family. Lin Tian shook his head. I'm not sure. I don't know. 5 Elements Crocodile opened his mouth and said in surprise, weapon control technique is the family's precious technique. You, an outsider, already surprised me that you know this precious technique. I thought you had a special relationship with the family, so the family made an exception to pass down this precious technique. But now, you don't even know anything about the family. 5 Elements Crocodile was surprised. It stared at Lin Tian with its pair of crocodile eyes. Tell me about it. Lin Tiandao naturally wanted to know more about the weapon control technique. Whooshing Crocodile looked at Lin Tian curiously, then said, the Yao family, the top force in the 6th heaven, overlooking a territory. The 6th heaven, the Yao family. Lin Tian muttered to himself. It wasn't until today that he finally knew the origin of the weapon control technique. It was actually inherited by the Yao family in the 6th heaven. That tomb, the owner is from the Yao family? He frowned slightly, thinking of the tomb in the 1st heaven. He got the weapon control technique from that tomb. Is that person from the Yao family? But if he is from the Yao family, why did he set up a tomb in the 1st heaven? Whooshing Crocodile stared at him. Kid, since you have nothing to do with that family, why do you know that treasure technique? Staring at Lin Tian, Whooshing Crocodile looked a little curious. I got it by accident. He briefly explained the matter of obtaining the weapon control technique. Whooshing Crocodile was also puzzled, but he didn't think much about it. Obviously, he wasn't very interested in this matter. By the way, as one of the top forces in the 6th heaven, how strong is the Yao family? Lin Tian asked. Whooshing Crocodile smiled. Kid, I'm afraid that the Yao family will find trouble with you. I'm not afraid, but after all, I have mastered the treasure technique of others. There may be some conflicts in the future. Now, I just want to know the strength of the other party in advance. Lin Tian said. Whooshing Crocodile nodded and said indifferently, "The strongest one is the ninth layer of the Enlightenment realm. There are about 9 of them, and about 50 ordinary Enlightenment realm cultivators. Not to mention the Tao realm and Immortal realm cultivators, there are quite a lot of them. Generally speaking, it's not a big deal. If your grandpa crocodile was still in his peak state, I could kill him with a single claw." Lin Tian directly ignored Whooshing Crocodile's last sentence and muttered to himself, 9 people at the 9th layer of the Enlightenment realm, and more than 50 ordinary Enlightenment realm cultivators. They are much stronger than the 3 top forces in this heaven. As far as he knows, the 3 top forces of the 4th heaven, the Stone God clan, the Angel clan, and the Holy Light clan, each of these 3 clans seems to have 7 or 8 powerhouses at the Enlightenment realm, and the most powerful one seems to be at the 5th heavenly layer. After a pause, he was a little curious and asked Whooshing Crocodile, "How strong are the top forces in the 5th heaven?" He wanted to do a comparison. The 5th heaven? Whooshing Crocodile stared at Lin Tian and said, "There are no top forces there. It's very chaotic." "Chaotic? What do you mean?" Lin Tian was puzzled. "Don't ask too much. It's still early for you to leave the 5th heaven. Knowing it now will affect your future cultivation. When you are close to the half-step Tao realm, Grandpa Crocodile will tell you." Whooshing Crocodile said, "Okay." Lin Tian nodded. He stood in place, thinking about the Yao family that inherited the weapon control technique. After a few seconds, he shook his head, stopped thinking about it, and walked out again. Now, it doesn't make sense for him to think about this. The air in the Withered Mountain range was always cold. Along the way, he encountered many fierce creatures, but none of them posed a threat to him. All of them were easily destroyed by him. After a while, he walked far away. Boom! At this moment, the Withered Mountain range suddenly shook violently, as if an earthquake had occurred. In the distance, a billowing black mist rushed up as if the door to hell had been opened. A huge mushroom cloud appeared, rushing straight up. One could clearly see that the void there was collapsing inch by inch. The scene was terrifying. Lin Tian stabilized his figure and looked up with Whooshing Crocodile. Suddenly, their pupils shrank, revealing a look of surprise. "Kid, did you feel it?" Whooshing Crocodile asked. Lin Tian's eyes flickered. "Spiritual energy. Very rich spiritual energy. Thousands of times more astonishing than the spiritual energy of the immortal vein." In the distance, billowing black smoke rushed up, but there was also an extremely astonishing spiritual energy fluctuation intertwined in it. It was so rich that it seemed like there was a sea of spiritual energy in that direction. "Let's go and take a look." With such rich spiritual energy, that place is definitely not ordinary, Whooshing Crocodile said. Lin Tian nodded. He also had the same idea. At that moment, his speed was slightly faster. Soon, he came to the place where the black mist rushed up. A large group of cultivators had already surrounded it. A part of the ground had collapsed, and there was a faint light flickering below. Obviously, there was a large space. This is already the underground space. I didn't expect there to be a large space under here. Lin Tian was slightly surprised. Whooshing Crocodile had a look of disdain. "The world is so big. There are all kinds of strange things. What's the fuss about? It seems that more than 10 years ago, your grandpa Crocodile dug up a stone coffin when he was digging. After opening it, there was another coffin inside. Then, when Grandpa Crocodile opened the second coffin, there was actually a third coffin inside. Well, when Grandpa Crocodile opened the third coffin, there was actually a fourth coffin inside. Damn it, what is this thing?" Grandpa Crocodile was so angry that he kicked it away. Lin Tian was speechless. Boom! The earth shook again. In front, the ground collapsed even more. More black mist rushed out, and at the same time, more dense spiritual energy intertwined. Naturally, more and more cultivators rushed here. Among them, there were even cultivators with wings on their backs. Light intertwined around their bodies. Lin Tian's eyes narrowed slightly. It turned out that they were from the Angel clan. Such dense spiritual energy below this. It feels like there are thousands of immortal veins intertwined below. I have this feeling too. Many cultivators were shocked. A powerful senior cultivator in the immortal ascension realm stared at that place. There is definitely something amazing in the underground. Of course, some people agreed. Staring at that place, many cultivators' eyes lit up. The black mist rolled and soon became a little dimmer. The spiritual energy that rushed out previously also became much fainter. "Let's go!" Suddenly, someone shouted. In an instant, the crowd rushed there, rushing from the collapsed ground to the underground space. Then, more cultivators rushed over and quickly entered the collapsed ground. They broke some of it, revealing a huge entrance that led to the space below. Soon, almost all the cultivators here stepped in. "Kid, are you going in?" Whooshing Crocodile asked. Lin Tian thought for a moment, nodded, and said, "Let's go in and take a look." The spiritual energy that rushed out earlier was really dense. He instinctively felt that there must be something very amazing below. Since he was here, he naturally had to take a look. "Grandpa Crocodile thinks so too," Whooshing Crocodile said. Without any hesitation, Lin Tian took a step forward and instantly stepped into the space below. When he walked to the space below, it was pitch black. At most, he could only see about 10 feet in front of him. Lin Tian scanned with his divine sense and found that the space below was not small, but it was not as big as the space above. However, it was colder here. Moreover, perhaps because of the dense energy below, the air was shockingly humid, making him feel very uncomfortable. There was more than one path in the space below. Lin Tian casually followed one and walked forward. He walked in the space below. The deeper he went, the colder and more humid the air became. Not long after, a powerful fluctuation of divine power came, accompanied by shrill and terrified screams. He focused his gaze forward and saw a slightly open space in front of him. There were 2 rotting corpses there, and they were madly attacking a group of cultivators who had entered this place. They were sucking away the flesh and blood of the cultivators. The scene was bloody and horrifying. Chapter 734. There were quite a few space forks further underground. Lin Tian looked at the 2 rotting corpses not far away and was slightly surprised. Weren't these 2 rotting corpses the 2 celestial ghosts that chased after him and the whooshing crocodile before? They actually met again here. Ah! In front, screams sounded one after another. The cultivators who entered here were all in trouble. One by one, they were crushed by the 2 celestial ghosts. Their flesh and blood were absorbed and swallowed by the 2 celestial ghosts. One could feel that the aura of the 2 celestial ghosts had become stronger. They can absorb the flesh and blood of living people to make themselves more powerful. Lin Tian was moved. Nonsense. Otherwise, why would they absorb the flesh and blood of living people? It naturally has some effect. Whooshing Crocodile said. The screams did not stop. The group of cultivators was frightened. Although their strength was not weak, they were a little weak in the face of the 2 celestial ghosts. Some launched divine light to resist, and some chose to escape directly. Suddenly, the 2 celestial ghosts seemed to feel something. They suddenly stopped killing, turned their heads mechanically, and looked at Lin Tian. Lin Tian and Whooshing Crocodile froze for a moment, and their faces suddenly changed. Whooshing Crocodile opened its mouth. "Kid, Lord Crocodile feels bad." "Maybe you're right," Lin Tian responded. Up ahead, 2 ghosts roared while their eyes stared straight at Lin Tian's direction. It was as if they'd seen the most delicious prey, or as if they'd seen their mortal enemy. They actually directly abandoned the other cultivators and charged over. Lin Tian cursed and directly followed a fork. He stepped on the 5th layer of the yin and yang row and fled. These 2 rotting corpses were comparable to the Wujin realm. Even if he was several times stronger, it was absolutely impossible for him to resist head-on. "Roar! Roar!" The 2 celestial ghosts roared, shaking the space. Sand and gravel fell from above. Lin Tian Chao took a look behind him. Black yin fog lingered around the bodies of the 2 ghost gods like 2 yin winds. He felt a chill run down his spine. He did not dare to be careless. He activated the Heart Sutra of Sun to increase his speed. Brat, why do these two rotten corpses like you so much? I'll chase you as soon as I see you. I'll chase you as soon as I see you. Damn it. Whooshing crocodile cursed. Lin Tian was too lazy to say anything. He just stepped on the Yin and Yang Liang and rushed forward. There was a lot of Yin fog in this space, and the air was very cold. He ran for more than 10 breaths, and when he looked back, he found that the distance between him and the two ghosts was actually closer. Their speed is slightly faster than the last time they were chasing us. His expression turned cold. Whooshing crocodile ground his teeth. After sucking so many cultivators' flesh and blood, the corpse has become even more agile. It would be strange if its speed didn't increase. Boom! Waves of death chi surged from behind, causing the space to become even colder, causing people to involuntarily feel a chill down their backs. Brat, stop talking and run! Whooshing crocodile shouted. Lin Tian naturally did not need its reminder. He activated the Heart Sutra of Sun even faster. The golden divine light on the surface of his body flowed like a golden bolt of lightning, increasing his speed even more. This space was pitch black. Even his divine sense could not see very far. It was greatly restricted. Lin Tianyi ran wildly. He did not know where he was running to. From time to time, he would look back. The two celestial ghosts were getting closer and closer to him. Run, run, run! Whooshing crocodile shouted. Lin Tian gritted his teeth and increased his speed again. However, the two celestial ghosts behind him were too fast. After dozens of breaths, they finally got close to Lin Tian. They directly stretched out their claws and grabbed at Lin Tian. Lin Tianji felt his scalp go numb. He tilted his head to avoid the claws of one celestial ghost and waved his fist to meet the ghost hand of the other celestial ghost. Bang! His fist landed on the rotten ghost hand of the celestial ghost, but it was as if he had punched a golden diamond. The web between his thumb and index finger directly split open. A strong force surged from his arm, causing him to fly more than 70 feet away. He steadied himself. He did not have the time to be surprised by the strength of the two celestial ghosts. He once again fled into the distance. Roar! Roar! The two celestial ghosts roared. Their red hair trembled, and their ghostly eyes were red. They were like two strong winds of death. In the blink of an eye, the two celestial ghosts approached again. They directly opened their mouths and bit at Lin Tian. The blood was terrifying. Oh my God! Brat, run! Whooshing crocodile howled. Lin Tian's glabella shone brightly. He directly propped up the yin-yang lotus sea and gathered the yin-yang lotus diagram to block the two celestial ghosts. The two celestial ghosts were hindered by this. Their ghostly bodies swayed a few times. However, this did not affect them much. After that, the two celestial ghosts tore apart the yin-yang lotus diagram and closed in on Lin Tian again in an instant. The aura of death was overwhelming. Lin Tian's expression changed. Whooshing crocodile's scales stood up. It's over, it's over, it's over, it's over. It's really over this time. Brat, you're really unlucky. Roar! Roar! The two celestial ghosts roared. They stretched out their ghostly claws again and grabbed at Lin Tian. Lin Tian gritted his teeth. At such a close distance, even if he had peerless movement techniques, he could not avoid them. He could only prop up the yin-yang lotus sea again and face the two celestial ghosts head-on. Buzz! It was also at this moment that his abdomen suddenly emitted a faint divine light. Vaguely, a crisp babble sound was heard. It was as if a baby was still in swaddling clothes and was unhappy. The two celestial ghosts immediately trembled violently, as if they had sensed something terrifying. Their ghostly eyes were immediately filled with fear, and they could not stop trembling. Now, they were clearly only a few inches away from Lin Tian, but they did not dare to move at all. Their ghostly claws froze in the air, as if someone had cast a body-freezing spell on them. Lin Tian's expression changed. Whooshing crocodile was shocked. Lin Tian quickly retreated. He stopped when he was about 10 feet away from the two celestial ghosts and looked at his abdomen. That egg is glowing? Whooshing crocodile said. Lin Tian scanned it with his divine thought and nodded. Next to his life force, the mysterious patterns on the surface of the egg lit up and emitted light. However, it was not as strong as the light it emitted in the oasis at the beginning. He raised his head and looked in front of him. The two celestial ghosts were frightened and uneasy. They could not stop trembling like a cat seeing a mouse. Whooshing Crocodile was surprised. Previously, these two rotten bastards retreated back and forth in the oasis. It seems that it really has something to do with that egg. The aura it emitted scared them. Previously, it and Lin Tian had guessed that the two celestial ghosts retreating back then had something to do with that egg, but they were not sure. However, now it was sure that the two celestial ghosts, who were comparable to masters of the enlightenment realm, were afraid of that egg. Just now, that egg was in Lin Tian's body, and its aura was isolated by Lin Tian's physical body. The two celestial ghosts could not sense it, so they were not afraid and directly chased after Lin Tian. However, now, the patterns on the surface of the egg were emitting light. They automatically overflowed with fluctuations, causing the aura to be released. When the two celestial ghosts sensed this aura, they immediately became frightened and could not stop trembling. What is the origin of this egg? It can be like this even before it is born. Could it be the descendant of some divine beast? It stared at Lin Tian's abdomen and shrunk its neck. Lin Tian was also surprised. The egg next to the origin seemed to have an incredible origin. He paused for a moment and finally took a deep breath. While the light from the egg in his body shocked the two celestial ghosts, he quickly distanced himself from the two celestial ghosts. He stepped on the yin-yang puppet and fled into the distance. Kid, why are you running? What a good opportunity. Kill them. Let Lord Crocodile vent the resentment in my heart. Whooshing Crocodile shouted. Can I kill the celestial ghosts, who are comparable to masters of the enlightenment realm? Or are you saying that the current you can kill them? Whooshing Crocodile was stunned and immediately understood. That's right. You are too weak now. You can only be chased. Lin Tian gritted his teeth and immediately wanted to beat it. What did it mean by too weak and can only be chased? Did it not know how to speak? The entire space below was an underground palace. Walking in this underground palace, the surrounding yin-chi was very dense, and the air was very cold. The effect of the divine sense was greatly reduced, and it was difficult to identify the direction. Lin Tian stepped on the yin-yang puppet and walked all the way until he could no longer sense the aura of the two celestial ghosts. Then, he slowed down and was really relieved. Kid, this time you really have to thank the celestial egg. Otherwise, you would be dead. Remember to incubate the egg in the future and let the little guy come to this world as soon as possible. Whooshing Crocodile said. Lin Tian did not want to pay attention to it. He walked in this dark underground palace, and his footsteps could be heard from both sides from time to time. At this time, the celestial egg next to his origin had quieted down, as if it had fallen into a deep sleep. He walked forward. Gradually, the yin-chi in the air became thicker, and so did the aura of death. At the same time, the amazing spiritual aura that he had sensed before was also mixed in, coming from a position further away. Lin Tian's eyes flashed, and Whooshing Crocodile was also shocked. Kigo! Whooshing Crocodile shouted. Lin Tian did not hesitate and entered the space below. He came here because of the rich spiritual aura. He quickened his pace and quickly crossed a distance of several hundred feet. The aura of death in the air became even more shocking, and the spiritual aura mixed in it became even thicker. After that, when he crossed another 10,000 feet, he suddenly stopped. His eyes, which were staring in front of him, suddenly froze. Even the five-element alligator above his head widened its eyes. As far as the eye could see, the terrain in front of him suddenly opened up. There was actually a huge, rusty palace in front of him. The palace was very big, and the top was filled with soil. It looked as if the entire palace was pressed underground. On the left and right sides of the palace, there were piles of corpses and bones. The density was frightening, and the aura of death was monstrous. Staring at this scene, The man and the crocodile could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. There were really too many corpses in this place, and they were so densely packed that it was frightening. Each of the corpses was surrounded by a black inchi, and it was extremely terrifying. Lin Tian stared ahead, and his gaze moved away from the dense corpses and landed on the huge palace. His eyes flashed with a trace of light, the fluctuation of spiritual aura that we sense came from that palace. Chapter 735. Staring at the palace full of corpses, Lin Tian's eyes glowed. He could clearly sense that the spirit chi he had sensed earlier was coming from the palace. The whooshing crocodile naturally sensed it too. It stared straight ahead, stretched out a claw, and said, "Boy, charge." Lin Tian nodded. Since he had already found his way here, he naturally could not retreat. He adjusted his breathing slightly and carefully approached the palace. Soon, he arrived in front of the palace. Looking at it from a close distance, the corpses were even denser, scattered all around the palace. There were corpses in every corner of the palace, and they all emitted a very strong, rotten smell. "There are so many of them," the whooshing crocodile muttered. Lin Tian glanced around and walked forward. He came to the door of the palace. The door was made of bronze, and there were many rust stains on it. He walked closer and used a little force. With a soft creak, the bronze door slowly opened. Suddenly, a rotten and moldy smell hit him in the face. Lin Tian put up a divine power light screen to block this smell. He waited for a dozen breaths to pass before he stepped into the palace. The interior of the palace was a little dim, and there was a huge circular corridor at the outer edge. It seemed to encircle the entire interior of the palace. At a glance, he saw a huge original stone pillar standing in the middle of the corridor. A stone pillar in a corridor like this? He was slightly surprised. It was not strange to have a stone pillar in a corridor. Usually, they would be erected on both sides of the corridor. But now, in this palace, a stone pillar was erected in the middle of the corridor. Not only did it look a little strange, but it would also affect normal traffic. This made him feel very strange. It was the first time he had seen a building like this. It was reasonable to say that it was inappropriate. The whooshing crocodile curled its lips. Why do you care how this stone pillar was erected? The previous palace master might have liked this style. Lin Tian was too lazy to bother with it. He walked to the stone pillar and found that the stone pillar was densely engraved with patterns. Most of them were birds, beasts, flowers, and so on. There was nothing special about it. He was a bit curious and placed his hand on the stone pillar. In the next moment, his eyes flashed with a strange light. This is... Staring at the stone pillar, his eyes flickered. Whooshing crocodile looked down and asked, "What's wrong? What did you find?" "Nothing," Lin Tian said. Whooshing crocodile looked at him suspiciously, but didn't think too much about it. He urged, "Don't look at this broken pillar anymore. It's more important to find the source of that spiritual energy. Now that we've discovered this place, I reckon that it won't be long before other cultivators find this place as well. Right now, we've seized the initiative, so don't waste this opportunity." Lin Tian nodded and removed his hand from the stone pillar. He glanced at the stone pillar one last time before walking further into the palace. He didn't walk around the circular corridor, but walked in a straight line. Not long after, rooms and lofts appeared in front of him. Almost all of them were very spacious. The palace was very dark and deathly silent. Walking in here, his footsteps were particularly ear-piercing. Suddenly, a gloomy aura attacked from the darkness, like a sharp sword in the darkness. It was very frightening. Lin Tian condensed a light, sword of divine power in his hand. Golden divine light illuminated the surroundings, illuminating a monkey-like demon spirit. Its fangs were more than 2 inches long, and its eyes were as black as ink. The sword in Lin Tian's hand trembled, and the sword light shot out, directly slashing at the demon spirit. The sound of metal colliding rang out, and sparks flew out. Lin Tian was a bit surprised by this. He was shocked by the demon spirit's physique. One had to know that although his sword strike was very casual, it definitely wouldn't be a problem to kill an ordinary early-stage cultivator. However, this demon spirit perfectly blocked it. Ah! The demon spirit let out a strange cry and viciously pounced toward Lin Tian. Lin Tian raised his left hand and directly smashed down with a fist. This time, the demon spirit couldn't block it. It was directly smashed into pieces by the fist, and blood splattered all over the ground. After a slight glance, Lin Tian continued to move forward. Then he stopped. The palace was still dark. At this time, pairs of blood-red and demonic green eyes lit up. Waves of incomparably cold aura swept around, as if they had arrived at a bottomless ice abyss. Damn, so many demons? Whooshing Crocodile stared. There are so many corpses outside. Do you think the inside of this palace will be a good place? Lin Tian said. Whooshing Crocodile rolled its eyes. Of course, Grandpa Crocodile knows that this place is not a good place. I just didn't expect it to be so exaggerated. This palace was very big, and now it and Lin Tian Kai were at the edge of the palace. Even at the edge, there were so many ghosts and monsters. Based on this, one could imagine that the closer they got to the depths of the palace, the more terrifying the evil ghosts and monsters would be. It was possible that there would be ghosts and monsters comparable to Wuxian realm experts that would jump out. Damn it, Grandpa Crocodile really doesn't want to be chased anymore. It cursed. Lin Tian ignored it directly and stepped into the depths of the palace. This palace was dark, and the yin qi was thicker. However, he could still sense the fluctuation of spiritual energy. He directly followed this fluctuation of spiritual energy and walked down with steady steps. Kid, there are so many pairs of demonic eyes staring at you. Can you at least respect others and treat them as air? Whooshing Crocodile teased. Almost at the moment its words fell, many evil ghosts and demons rushed over, bringing with them a whooshing sound. Lin Tian's expression didn't change. He propped up the yin-yang lotus sea, and the black and white lotus petals swept in all directions. Suddenly, ear-piercing screams resounded through this space. Puff! 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 In the face of Lin Tian's sea of knowledge phenomenon, although these evil ghosts and demons were powerful, they couldn't resist. In the blink of an eye, all the ghosts and demons that rushed over were crushed by the yin-yang lotus sea. Whooshing Crocodile was moved. Kid, your sea of knowledge phenomenon can kill Wuxian realm powerhouses, spiritual incarnations, and restrain ghosts. It's really extraordinary. Although it was only at the sea of consciousness stage now, it was in existence at the peak of the nirvana stage back then. It had seen many sea of consciousness anomalies before. However, it was the first time it had seen such a powerful sea of consciousness anomaly like Lin Tian's. Lin Tian didn't say anything. The divine light, sword in his hand, illuminated the surroundings. He continued to follow the fluctuation of spiritual energy and continued to walk deeper into the palace. Gradually, as he walked deeper into the palace, the aura of death in the air became thicker. At the same time, an extremely terrifying demonic aura lingered around him, causing him to be slightly shocked. There was actually a demonic aura here? He paused for a moment and continued to walk forward, appearing to be more careful. After that, he encountered many evil ghosts and demons in the dark palace. The most powerful one was a ghost of the Great Path realm. However, in the end, he relied on the sea of knowledge phenomenon to force his way through. He followed the fluctuation of spiritual energy and arrived in front of a huge stone room. As far as the eye could see, the stone door of the stone room was slightly ajar. A strong aura of death was emitted from within. There was also an astonishing demonic aura, as well as a strong fluctuation of spiritual energy. There were many corpses outside the stone room. Lin Tian appeared to be very cautious. He approached cautiously, and together with Whooshing Crocodile, they looked through the gap in the stone door. Immediately, the man and crocodile trembled, and their expressions changed. Looking through the gap, the stone room was about 100 square meters. It was filled with corpses, and it was extremely frightening. At the end of the room, there was a huge crystal pillar that was 10 feet tall. Even 3 adults wouldn't be able to encircle it. This crystal pillar exuded an extremely shocking amount of spiritual energy. It was entangled by iron chains, and a middle-aged man was sealed inside the crystal pillar. The middle-aged man's hair was messy, and there were wisps of black gas lingering around his body. He exuded a terrifying, demonic aura, causing Lin Tian and Wuxing Crocodile to tremble slightly. Vaguely, the man in Crocodile saw a hideous scene. In it, cultivators were howling miserably. Mists of blood exploded one after another. It was like a scene from the depths of hell. For a moment, the man and Crocodile were stunned. Their eyes were sometimes clear, sometimes ruthless, and sometimes dim. In the end, they gradually became turbid. Buzz! At this moment, in Lin Tian's sea of knowledge, the yin-yang lotus sea swayed, releasing wisps of black and white light. Immediately, Lin Tianyi trembled and recovered from his daze. Cold sweat instantly flowed down his forehead. He hurriedly circulated the Sun Heart Sutra to stabilize his mind. At the same time, he grabbed the Wuxing Crocodile above his head and slapped it twice. Feeling the pain, the Wuxing Crocodile recovered from his daze. The look in his eyes instantly changed as he shrank his neck. Lin Tian stared in the direction of the stone room with obvious fear. Just now, when he stared at the middle-aged man in the crystal pillar in the stone room, he and the Wuxing Crocodile had both been tricked. They had fallen into a terrifying illusion and almost caused their own lives to be destroyed. At that time, if it weren't for the yin-yang lotus sea protecting his body and allowing him to recover, he and the Wuxing Crocodile might have died outside the stone room. That middle-aged man, he was a little shocked. He was sure that the illusion that he and the Wuxing Crocodile had created was because of the middle-aged man sealed in the crystal pillar. This surprised him. One had to know that he was in the immortal ascension realm. But now, just by looking at the middle-aged man, he had created a terrifying illusion that was enough to destroy his own life force. This was enough to show that the middle-aged man sealed in the crystal pillar was very dangerous. The Wuxing Crocodile swallowed his saliva and took a deep breath. Finally, he clenched his claws, and some excitement appeared in his eyes. "Kid, let's not talk about the middle-aged man first. Do you see the crystal pillar? The crystal pillar that sealed the middle-aged man is the immortal Lingjing. It's something of a higher level than the Lingjing. The spiritual chi it contains, whether in terms of purity or quality, is shockingly high. It's not something an ordinary Lingjing can compare to. In that stone room, other than the huge immortal Lingjing in the crystal pillar, there are many other immortal Lingjing fragments. Just those immortal Lingjing fragments alone are a huge treasure." Chapter 736. Hearing Wuxing Crocodile's words, Lin Tian immediately withdrew his thoughts from the middle-aged man in the immortal Lingjing and focused on the immortal Lingjing fragments in the stone room. Looking at them, the fragments were not small in size. Although the combined weight was not comparable to the immortal Lingjing pillar that sealed the middle-aged man, it was still a few hundred kilograms. It was comparable to millions of kilograms of immortal Lingjing. Just these immortal Lingjing fragments alone were enough to be called a divine treasure. After refining and absorbing these immortal Lingjing fragments, Lord Crocodile will be able to enter the immortal connecting realm in the blink of an eye. Wuxing Crocodile's eyes lit up. Lin Tian's eyes flashed. He had obtained a blood Kirin fruit before. If he could refine and absorb the power of the blood Kirin fruit with the help of the immortal spirit crystal fragments here, he would definitely be able to absorb the power of the blood Kirin fruit perfectly and increase his cultivation base even more. He took a deep breath and said to Wuxing Crocodile, "Protect your mind. Now stay on top of my head and don't move." After saying that, he moved his mind and activated the Heart Sutra of Sunday. At the same time, he propped up the yin-yang lotus sea and carefully stepped into the stone room. The middle-aged man sealed in the immortal Lingjing pillar at the end of the stone room was very unusual. Just now, he and Wuxing Crocodile had a close shave. At this time, entering the stone room, he naturally had to be very cautious. He could not be the slightest bit careless. Whooshing Crocodile naturally knew this. He quickly activated his demon Dao mental cultivation method and cooperated with Lin Tian's yin-yang lotus sea to protect his mind. This time he could feel the cold demonic aura, but his mind was not affected. In the blink of an eye, Lin Tian stepped into the stone room. Within the stone room, the aura of death was very strong. The yin energy was astonishing, and there were densely packed corpses. The people who died inside and outside the stone room should have also taken a fancy to the immortal Ling Jing in the stone room. Some of them died fighting each other, while others were affected by the middle-aged man sealed in the immortal Ling Jing pillar and fell into an illusion and died. Thinking about it, everyone who came close to this place should have all died here. Whooshing Crocodile said. Lin Tian nodded. That should be the case. He looked outside the stone room and waved his right hand. A gust of sword wind swept away the corpses outside the stone room and scattered them all over the corridor. Then he closed the door of the stone room from the inside. After that, he raised his right hand slightly and carved a sealing formation on the stone door to isolate the aura and sound in the stone room to prevent the cultivators who came later from discovering them. Buzz! Faint silver soul light flashed. Very soon, he engraved 3 sealing formation runes on the stone door. After that, even ordinary Great Dao realm experts would find it very hard to discover what was happening in the stone room. They wouldn't be able to hear the sounds inside the stone room. Whooshing Crocodile was a little surprised. Brat, you can actually draw formation patterns with your bare hands, and you're a 6th-tier array manipulator or above? I've cultivated a little. Lin Tiandao turned around and looked toward the end of the stone room. He walked forward and soon arrived in front of the immortal Lingjing pillar. Looking at the immortal Lingjing pillar from a close distance, he could clearly see that the iron chains binding it were engraved with dense patterns. They seemed to be some kind of suppressive runes. Looking inside the immortal Lingjing pillar, he saw that the middle-aged man had disheveled hair. Specks of black light interweaved on the surface of his body. He had a terrifying demonic aura, which made people feel intimidated at first glance. This person is at the early stage of Nirvana realm. He is completely demonized, Whooshing Crocodile said. No wonder he can create illusions. Lin Tian sized up the surroundings. In the end, his gaze landed on the middle-aged man again. He frowned slightly. It seems that he is not being suppressed here by others. Instead, it seems that he has sealed himself in the immortal Lingjing. At this moment, he was circulating the Sun Heart Sutra while supporting the yin-yang lotus sea avatar. He was not affected by the demonized middle-aged man. Whooshing Crocodile also sized up the surroundings. That seems to be the case. From a bystander's point of view, the middle-aged man was sealed in the immortal spirit crystal. Everything was very calm, and there were no signs that he had been suppressed by someone else. Perhaps when he was demonized, he suppressed himself in this place to prevent himself from harming other living beings. He is the owner of this palace? Lin Tian frowned slightly. I don't know. Whooshing Crocodile shook his head. Lin Tian pondered slightly, staring at the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar that sealed the middle-aged man. Suddenly his eyes flashed. With a buzz, he took out the black azure cauldron and slowly moved it toward the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar in front of him. Whooshing Crocodile was taken aback. Kid, what are you doing? Put him away. Lin Tiandao. Whooshing Crocodile almost bit him directly. Don't mess around. This person has already been demonized and lost himself. Why are you putting him away? If you accidentally break the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar and let him escape from inside, it will cause a disaster on the spot. It's not a joke, Whooshing Crocodile said. If it was in the past, your Grandpa Crocodile could suppress him with a raise of my hand. But now, Grandpa Crocodile's cultivation is gone. If he jumps out, we can't stop him. Moreover, ordinary containers can't withstand the demonic power emitted by him through the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar. They will be shattered directly. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Lin Tiandao. He seemed to be very careful. Moreover, the black azure cauldron he took out was not ordinary. It was left by the master apothecary. Although it had no attack power, it was extremely sturdy. He believed that even a peak Nirvana realm expert might not be able to break this cauldron. He moved the cauldron carefully. Under whooshing crocodile's widened eyes, he took the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar that sealed the middle-aged man into the cauldron. Then he closed the cauldron lid. After thinking about it, he applied a layer of 4-symbol seal on it. Whooshing crocodile swallowed his saliva. "Kid, take it easy. If something goes wrong, it will be really bad. Don't worry." Lin Tiandao. His eyes flashed. He used the black azure cauldron to carry the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar that sealed the middle-aged man. If he encountered a great crisis in the future, he would directly release the middle-aged man inside. At that time, even a Wuxian realm expert would not be able to survive. Taking a deep breath, he carefully put the black azure cauldron into the stone ring. Then he looked at the other immortal Lingjing fragments. Seeing that Lin Tian put away the immortal Lingjing crystal pillar that sealed the demonic middle-aged man without any accident, Whooshing crocodile also relaxed. Then his eyes fell on the immortal Lingjing fragments like Lin Tianyi. His eyes lit up. Speaking of which, when you cultivate later, you should pay attention. Don't rush into the immortal realm directly. It will lead to heaven's retribution. Lin Tian reminded Whooshing crocodile. Relying on the immortal Lingjing here to cultivate, Whooshing crocodile could enter the immortal realm very quickly. However, when entering the immortal realm, it would lead to heaven's retribution. Obviously, it was not a wise choice to undergo heaven's retribution here. Whooshing crocodile heard this and glared. Damn it, if you didn't mention it, Master Crocodile would have forgotten about this. As he spoke, he gritted his teeth and glared at Lin Tian angrily. You jinx, because of you, Master Crocodile has to suffer heaven's retribution again. Damn it, when I went through the immortal realm retribution last time, I almost burned Master Crocodile. I hashtag yin. Lin Tian was too lazy to reply. He gathered all the immortal Lingjing fragments together with his divine power and sat down next to it. He roughly estimated that these immortal Lingjing fragments weighed 300 caddies, which was equivalent to 3 million caddies of ordinary Lingjing. Whooshing crocodile flapped its wings and jumped to the side. It directly activated its demon clan's cultivation method and began to absorb the spiritual power contained in the immortal Lingjing. Immediately, in the blink of an eye, its aura began to rise rapidly. Lin Tian glanced at it and activated the Sun Heart Sutra. Golden divine light suddenly penetrated his body and intertwined on the surface of his body. He activated the Sun Heart Sutra, and the divine power in his body circulated rhythmically. Soon, his essence, chi, and spirit reached the peak level. At this moment, he shook his right hand and took out a fist-sized blood-colored fruit. As soon as this fruit appeared, a strong fruity fragrance floated around. Whooshing crocodile, who was cultivating at the side, could not help but look over. Good stuff! Its eyes lit up. Lin Tian glanced at it and swallowed the blood-curing fruit. Then he activated the Sun Heart Sutra even faster, refining a blood-colored light mist. This light mist was the magical power contained in the blood-curing fruit. He calmed his mind and concentrated, activating the Sun Heart Sutra to absorb the spiritual power of the immortal Lingjing. Together with the magical power of the blood-curing fruit, he integrated it into his flesh and blood, helping to condense his divine power and build his physical body. He could see that the immortal spirit crystal fragments around him were slowly melting, turning into rays of light that engulfed him, like a small river that was about to drown him. For a moment, the golden divine light outside his body became stronger, and the aura he emitted became stronger little by little. You're really serious? Whooshing crocodile curled its lips, then turned its head and activated its demon clan's cultivation method again. It began to quickly absorb the spiritual power of the immortal Lingjing next to it. Grandpa Crocodile, continue too. Suddenly, the aura it emitted rose again, and a bright demonic light flickered outside its body. However, in comparison, the golden light emitted from Lin Tian's body was undoubtedly stronger. It directly overshadowed the demonic light outside whooshing Crocodile's body. At this moment, activating the Sun Heart Sutra, Lin Tian seriously refined and absorbed the power of the blood Kirin fruit, using it to temper his divine power. At the same time, he used the divine power to build his immortal ascension body. His aura was slowly becoming stronger. Suddenly, the sacred egg next to his life source jumped slightly, and the patterns on its surface lit up. It began to absorb the immortal Lingjing's spiritual power with him. Vaguely, Lin Tian heard a happy squeak, as if a child had received candy. It was very satisfied and happy. Lin Tian glanced at it with his divine consciousness, smiled slightly, and didn't care. He allowed the sacred egg to absorb the surrounding immortal Lingjing's spiritual power. Speaking of which, it was all thanks to this sacred egg and the unborn little guy in the sacred egg. Otherwise, he and whooshing Crocodile would have died in the hands of the two celestial ghosts. He took a deep breath and intertwined his divine consciousness in his body. He was more serious about tempering his divine power and building his physical body with it. In the blink of an eye, 10 hours had passed. Boom! Chapter 737. After stepping into the fourth tier of the Immortal Ascension realm, Lin Tian's eyes immediately flashed with a glimmer of light. He used his divine consciousness to look inside, and could clearly see that his flesh and blood had become even more crystalline. The divine power in his body was rolling like the yellow river, roaring like a divine dragon. Great, he said to himself. He used his divine consciousness to scan his body again. There was still a lot of blood Kirin fruit's magical power in his body. There was also some immortal Lingjing left. He continued to run the Sun Heart Sutra and continued to immerse himself in cultivation. He seriously tempered his divine power and strengthened his body at the same time. Buzz! With the tempering of his divine power and the strengthening of his body, the golden divine light outside his body became even brighter and more dazzling. At the same time, next to his life force, the divine egg was also jumping slightly. It seemed to be very happy. Immortal Lingjing Qi quickly rushed over and surrounded it. Time passed quickly. Lin Tian slowed down his cultivation speed a lot. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Boom! On this day, the stone room faintly shook, and an oppressive aura instantly shrouded the stone room. Lin Tian was awakened. Naturally, he knew that this oppressive aura was the precursor of the heavenly tribulation. He immediately looked at whooshing Crocodile. Don't worry, Lord Crocodile will suppress it immediately, whooshing Crocodile said. After absorbing immortal Lingjing's spirit qi and cultivating for 3 days, whooshing Crocodile directly crossed from the Sea of Consciousness realm to the peak of the Airborne realm. It was just about to reach the Immortal Ascension realm. The Great Path sensed it and was about to send down the Immortal Ascension tribulation. It took a deep breath, and a demonic light flashed outside its body. In an instant, it stabilized its realm and stopped rushing to the Immortal Ascension realm. It stopped at the peak of the 9th tier of the Airborne realm. Suddenly, the oppressive aura slowly disappeared. Okay, it said. After reaching the peak of the Airborne realm, the aura on its body had obviously become stronger. Lin Tian nodded, closed his eyes, and continued to immerse himself in cultivation. Buzz! Faint golden light intertwined outside his body. He silently ran the Sun Heart Sutra and calmly cultivated. His mind was empty. In the blink of an eye, another day passed. On this day, Lin Tian opened his eyes again. The blood Kirin fruit's strange power in his body had already been completely refined. The immortal Lingjing fragments here had also been completely consumed. He spat out a mouthful of turbid air, stood up, and slightly stretched his body. Whooshing Crocodile looked at him. You're almost at the peak of the 4th level of the connecting immortal realm. Not bad. You're not bad yourself. From the Sea of Consciousness realm, you directly reach the peak of the 9th layer of the Zephyr realm. Lin Tiandao. Whooshing Crocodile's face suddenly darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, Why do I feel like you are insulting the crocodile? It was originally at the peak of the nirvana realm, but now it had fallen to the spiritual sea realm. From the spiritual sea realm to the 9th level of the airborne realm, it was indeed a good harvest. However, when Lin Tian said it like this, it felt uncomfortable and wanted to bang its head against the wall. Lin Tian glanced at Wuxing Crocodile and was too lazy to say anything else. He used his divine will to scan his body. Now his cultivation was almost at the peak of the 4th level of the connecting immortal realm. He was not far away from the 5th level of the connecting immortal realm. His divine power had become more vigorous, and his physique had become more crystal clear and sturdy. He scanned with his divine will and suddenly heard a joyful squeak. He looked towards the source of the sound and saw that next to his life origin, the patterns on the divine egg had become brighter. The light seemed very sacred. He smiled slightly. He did not know if the little guy in the divine egg could hear it. He said, "A few more times of this spiritual energy, and you will be able to come out." Buzz! On the surface of the divine egg, the patterns became brighter. They flashed, and the squeak became clearer. Lin Tianyi was stunned. Then he smiled faintly. The little guy in the divine egg had not been born yet, but it could hear his words. The patterns on the divine egg gradually quieted down. The little guy inside seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep. It was really like a baby in swaddling clothes. Lin Tian smiled and retracted his divine will. He said to Wuxing Crocodile, "Let's go." Wuxing Crocodile howled. Its monster body shrunk, and it lay on Lin Tian's head. Lin Tian came to the door of the stone room and scanned the outside with his divine will. When he saw that there was no one nearby, he erased the ceiling formation patterns, pushed open the stone door, and walked out. He turned his head and glanced at the corridor. The corpses that he had messed up before were a lot more messy. Obviously, cultivators had passed by outside the stone room these days. Other cultivators have entered this palace. Who cares if other people have come in or not? Anyway, we have already gotten the treasure here. Let's just leave. Wuxing Crocodile said. Lin Tian did not move, but a faint light flickered in his eyes. "Don't worry," he said. "This place is not as simple as you think." "What do you mean?" Wuxing Crocodile was stunned. At this moment, noises came from afar. Some cultivators were approaching this place. "I heard that this palace used to be a super holy land in this heaven. It was the kind of force that really looked down on this heaven. It was called the number one in the 4th heaven." "That's true. I heard about it too. It is said that the Holy Land was extremely glorious at that time. There were more than 10 enlightenment powerhouses in the sect. Later, the Holy Land found a source vein that had turned into a spirit, so they refined the main palace of the Holy Land into a magic treasure and led it to suppress the source vein. They wanted to incorporate it into the Holy Land to strengthen their foundation, but in the end, it was destroyed by the source vein that had turned into a spirit. What about the source vein that had turned into a spirit? Some older generation powerhouses said that although the Holy Land was destroyed, the source vein should not have gained any benefits. It is very likely that it is still in this palace. Moreover, its consciousness should have been destroyed by the Holy Land. It's a pure source vein. A group of cultivators walked into the depths of the palace from another fork in the road with surprise. Lin Tian stood in front of the stone door, looking at the group of cultivators in the distance who walked into the depths of the palace from another road. He did not say anything, but his brows furrowed slightly, and a faint light flashed in his eyes. Above his head, Wuxing Crocodile's eyes widened. A source vein that has turned into a spirit is not simple. It's very powerful. A holy land wants to suppress a source vein that has turned into a spirit as its foundation. They are really bold. It's very normal. A source vein that has turned into a spirit is comparable to 5 ordinary source veins. It can be comparable to 50,000 flawless immortal veins. If we can obtain it, the benefits will be unimaginable. Lin Tian said, "In this world, the dense spiritual chi of heaven and earth could form spiritual veins. It had unimaginable benefits for cultivation, alchemy, weapon refinement, and so on. For a sex inheritance, The existence of spiritual veins was crucial. Above the spiritual veins, there were immortal veins, source veins, divine veins, and ancestral dragon veins. Among them, the ancestral dragon veins were the most vast. It was the foundation of a great world. In this world, only extremely powerful chaotic realm emperors would dare to touch the ancestral dragon veins. Source veins were higher than spiritual veins and immortal veins. The value of an ordinary source vein was already shocking. It could be comparable to more than 10,000 flawless immortal veins. As for a source vein that had turned into a spirit, it was even more shocking. It could be comparable to 5 ordinary source veins. How vast would 50,000 flawless immortal veins be? How great would the benefits be if one obtained it? It was a saint treasury. As such, the temptation of a source vein that had turned into a spirit was naturally huge. Of course, once the source vein turned into a spirit and developed its own consciousness, it would be very terrifying, and its means would be terrifying. A cultivator at the peak of enlightenment realm wouldn't be a match for a source vein that had turned into a spirit. That sacred ground is really bold. Whooshing crocodile shook its head repeatedly. Suddenly it was shocked. It lowered its head and looked at Lin Tian. It said, "Kid, the middle-aged man that you kept in the stone room before. Could it be that the source vein had turned into a human? Didn't I say that the middle-aged man suppressed himself there? Moreover, he was a pure human. He wasn't the human form of another race." Lin Tiandao. That's right. Lord Crocodile forgot. Whooshing Crocodile nodded. Moreover, even if the source vein had turned into a spirit, it would only be invincible under the Nirvana realm. It couldn't be directly comparable to a Nirvana realm expert. After a pause, it had some doubts. Then, that middle-aged man was from the sacred ground back then? However, that doesn't seem right. That middle-aged man had strength comparable to an initial Nirvana realm expert. If he was really from that sacred ground, he should have been able to easily suppress the source vein back then. That sacred ground was in the ancient times. It had been 10,000 years since then. In this regard, it didn't think about how the middle-aged man could live for so long if he was from that sacred ground back then. That was because the middle-aged man was at the Nirvana realm. A Nirvana realm expert could live for at least 50,000 years. The ancient times were only 10,000 years away from the current era. Lin Tian thought for a moment and finally shook his head. This question was indeed a little troublesome to think about. He couldn't figure it out. Let's not think about it anymore. Let's go to the center of the palace and take a look, he said. Whooshing Crocodile naturally had no objections. Lin Tian stepped on the passage outside the stone room and headed deeper into the palace. Walking in the palace, the surroundings were still pitch black. However, now that he had stepped into the 4th layer of the immortal ascension realm, his eyesight had become stronger. Even in a dim environment, he could see very far. In the distance, a ferocious ghost pounced over. Even from afar, it brought with it a sinister wind that was as cold as ice. Lin Tian raised his hand and slapped out. Golden divine power pulsed and pulverized the ghost into pieces. More ghosts and evil spirits pounced over from all directions. Pairs of red and green eyes swayed in the darkness. Ghost bodies intertwined with black, Inchi shuttled back and forth in the surroundings. It was like 100 ghosts were marching in the night, causing one scalp to go numb. Lin Tian was very calm. A divine light sword condensed in his right hand. The divine power unique to the Sun Heart Sutra intertwined and shot out in all directions. Like a rain of swords, it swept across the land and cut all the ghosts and evil spirits into pieces. Later on, as he walked, some of the ghosts and evil spirits instinctively felt fear and no longer dared to attack him. Walking in the dim palace, his steps were very gentle. After walking for an unknown distance, he suddenly stopped and tilted his head to look to the right. At the end of the corridor on the right, he saw another stone pillar. It was engraved with all kinds of birds, beasts, flowers, and other patterns. It was still sitting in the middle of the circular corridor. Chapter 738. Lin Tian's gaze fell on the stone pillar, and there was a strange light in his eyes. "What's wrong?" Whooshing Crocodile asked. Lin Tian shook his head, looked away from the pillar, and walked deeper into the palace. The path he took was relatively straight, and there were no twists and turns in the middle. "Ah!" Screams came from further ahead, and blood-red ghost eyes flashed in the darkness. Lin Tian's expression was calm, and he didn't care. His steps were steady. He held a golden light sword in his hand, condensed by divine power. It flashed with a faint golden light in the darkness, illuminating the surroundings. The ghosts in the darkness seemed to know how terrifying he was, and they didn't dare to approach him. Boom! In front of him, a strong wave of divine power surged, bringing with it a shocking hurricane. A young man walked past. Almost at the same time, in another direction, two women were walking together. A moving melody drifted through the air, and specks of snowy light flashed past, repelling all of the ghosts that pounced forward. They were also walking towards the depths of the palace. Dong! On the far left, a 3-meter-tall giant stepped forward, holding a stone axe. He slashed down with the axe, shattering a few demons, and shook the surface of the palace. Lin Tian's eyes lit up. The Wind Clan Saint Child, the Sound Clan Saint Child, the Snow Clan Saint Child, and the Giant Clan Saint Child had all come down. These little guys are not bad. Their combat strength is not bad. Whooshing Crocodile commented. Lin Tian didn't say anything. He held the divine light sword in his hand and walked toward the center of the palace. Along the way, he saw many cultivators rushing toward the innermost part of the palace. Then, screams sounded. Many cultivators lost their lives to the demons and ghosts in the palace. He walked forward. Gradually, there was some light in front of him, and the air was no longer gloomy. It became fresh. After traveling for some distance, a large mountain depression appeared in front of them. Strange plants grew in it, and there were all kinds of strange flowers. There was even a medicinal fragrance that spread out and interweaved in this space. 300-year-old knotweed. That's a 700-year-old beauty-stopping flower. That's a 900-year-old immortal tempering grass. Many cultivators entered this place, and many of them exclaimed in surprise. As far as the eye could see, all kinds of precious medicines were growing very well in this space that was like a valley. It could even be said that immortals were devouring their stamens. This, Whooshing Crocodile was surprised. To think that there would be such a place in such a gloomy death hall. A strange light flickered in Lin Tian's eyes as he stepped inside. Some cultivators were shocked to see him enter this place. Even the Giant Saint Child and the Wind Saint Child's eyes flickered. However, in next to no time, these cultivators weren't surprised anymore. Their gazes descended onto the numerous stalks of treasured medicines in this space, and they acted in unison and started to fight over them, directly opening up a great competition. Pooh! Blood splashed out. Someone had just plucked a stalk of treasure grass that could refine true yuan when his head was chopped off and the treasure grass in his hand was snatched away. Ah! Blood-curdling screams rang out in this space, and all kinds of supernatural powers and martial techniques swept across this space. Among them, the Giant Saint Child and the others were undoubtedly the fastest. In the blink of an eye, the Giant Saint Child had obtained a stalk of 1,000-year sky stamen grass, which was also very useful for refining divine power. The Sound Saint Child and the Snow Saint Child each took a stalk of ageless flower, smiling. For women like them, the ageless flower was undoubtedly far more attractive than other treasured medicines. The Wind Saint Child strode over, bringing a gust of wind with him, shaking off several cultivators and obtaining a 1,000-year body-tempering spiritual root. "Kid, let's go too," Whooshing Crocodile urged. Lin Tian nodded. With a sweep of his divine consciousness, he saw a precious medicine that could be used to refine a 7th-grade Baodan. He directly moved over and took it in his hand. Then his silhouette moved quickly, and he obtained one extraordinary treasure herb after another in this space. These treasured herbs had been growing for a long time, and the medicinal power they contained was also very astonishing. In just a few dozen breaths, he had obtained several treasured herbs that could be used to refine some special pills. They could not be found in the outside world, even if one paid a sky-high price. Ah, that's mine. I saw it first. The treasured medicines here were extraordinary, so the competition was naturally very fierce. In the blink of an eye, many cultivators died in the hands of others. Soon, all the treasured medicines here were dug up, and some of the newly born seedlings were snatched away. There were many corpses on the ground, but no cultivators cared. Many people's eyes were intertwined with light as they began to look around. It's said that the source vein is in this palace. We must find it, someone whispered. This area, which was similar to a mountain valley, was very large. Many cultivators were on guard against others while searching their surroundings. Kid, hurry up and find it too. The value of source vein is shocking. Whooshing Crocodile said, I know. Lin Tiandao. In this place, if one were to say who understood source veins the most, it would undoubtedly be him. He controlled the complete dragon burial scripture. He stood in place and did not move, appearing very quiet. However, dragon patterns intertwined under his feet and spread out in all directions. If you know, then move. Why are you standing there like a block of wood? Whooshing Crocodile said. Lin Tiandao did not respond. The dragon patterns sank into the ground one by one, extending into the dark underground space. Suddenly, his expression changed. The dragon patterns extended over. About 100 feet below the palace, he saw densely packed skeletons. There were several times more skeletons than the skeletons outside the palace. Then, at the same time, not far from these dense skeletons, he saw some bright spots of light. They were like fireflies, overflowing with spiritual energy. That is, his eyes narrowed slightly. Boom! Suddenly, a loud explosion sounded. More than a dozen powerful fluctuations spread out and entered this space in the blink of an eye. There were dozens of figures, and each of them had an extremely shocking aura. There were Tao law fluctuations spreading out. This is a great Tao realm expert of the insect race. There are also experts from the ant race among them. There are also great Tao realm experts from the dark shadow race and the bone race. A great Tao realm expert from the blood wolf race has also come. There are also experts from the witch race. Many cultivators were shocked. They all stopped and looked at the dozen or so figures who had rushed here. The dozen or so figures who rushed out were all very powerful. Their gazes swept over and instantly fell on Lin Tiandao. Little bastard. He is really still here. He is really still here. Someone gritted his teeth, his face full of killing intent. Lin Tiandao looked up. The dozen or so people who had rushed here were all great Tao realm experts. There were 4 from the insect race, 2 from the ant race, 2 from the dark shadow race, 2 from the blood wolf race, 2 from the bone race, and 2 from the witch race. There were a total of 14 people, and their auras were all very powerful. Kid, are these your enemies? Whooshing Crocodile glared at him. Kid, you are really quite capable. You are only at the immortal connecting realm, but you have actually provoked so many great Tao realm cultivators alone. This is really unprecedented. It's not a big deal. I just killed their saint and massacred dozens of branch tribes of a certain race. Lin Tiandao was very calm. Whooshing Crocodile opened its mouth and said, It's one thing to kill the saint, but you actually massacred dozens of branch tribes of a certain race? What kind of deep hatred do you have? Lin Tiandao didn't hide anything from it. He stared at the 4 great Tao realm experts of the insect race coldly and emotionlessly and told it about what had happened in the small village. Whooshing Crocodile instantly raised its eyebrows and cursed. Damn it. How can you be so inhumane? CK. Although Lord Crocodile isn't a good crocodile, I definitely wouldn't do such a cruel thing. Damn it. Lin Tiandao didn't say anything else. His emotionless gaze swept past the 4 great Tao realm experts of the insect race. His gaze landed on the few great Tao realm experts of the blood wolf race and the sorcerer race. The other great races had been chasing after him all this time. He didn't find it strange that great Tao realm experts would come at this time. However, Why did these two races also send great Dao realm experts? Had the news of him killing the young paragon of the Blood Wolf race and the saint of the Sorcerer race already reached the ears of these two great races? Did the Bone race already know that he had killed their holy son? Wasn't this news spreading a little too quickly? Humph! A cold snort sounded. A tall and big man with one-armed bear walked out from the other side. Behind him were two similarly tall figures. They were also two great Dao realm experts. Lin Tiandao tilted his head and looked over. Instantly, his gaze turned cold. That little bastard from the stone race. The whooshing crocodile glared at him. The tall and big man with one-armed bear was the saint of the stone god race. His black hair cascaded down like a waterfall, and his eyes were cold and ferocious. His gaze landed on Lin Tiandao. I knew that you should still be in this underground space. I deliberately lured them here. He stared at Lin Tiandao with a ferocious gaze. Don't worry, they will leave you alive. Then I will kill you. The saint of the stone god race stood at the side, revealing a ferocious expression. In this place, the group of cultivators looked at the saint of the stone god race. Many of them were moved. Not long ago, these people heard the rumors that the saint of the stone god race fought with Lin Tianyi and was ultimately defeated. The saint of the bone race and the sorcerer race were killed in that battle. However, they didn't expect the saint of the stone god race to come back with a group of great Dao realm experts. How lowly! How can someone like him become the saint of a race? The whooshing crocodile cursed. Lin Tianyi didn't say anything, but there was disdain in his eyes. The saint of the stone god race didn't care about such a gaze at all. There was only ferociousness and killing intent in his eyes. Boom! A loud bang sounded. Other than the two great Dao realm experts from the stone god race, who were still standing behind the saint of the stone god race, the other great Dao realm experts from the other races all moved. They stepped out together, and a vast killing intent directly enveloped Lin Tianyi. Today, I will definitely make you suffer the pain of purgatory. A great Dao realm expert from the insect race had a face full of killing intent. Damn you! The two great Dao realm experts from the bone race were furious. Some time ago, only a few half-step great Dao realm experts from their race had been killed. But now, their saint had also died in Lin Tianyi's hands. This loss was too great. With the special techniques of our sorcerer race, we will make you suffer a fate worse than death. The two great Dao realm experts from the sorcerer race had blood-red eyes. They were sinister like the eyes of ghosts, and dark light intertwined on their bodies. The great Dao realm experts from the Blood Wolf race, the Dark Shadow race, and the Ant race were also full of killing intent. 14 great Dao realm experts closed in. Dao laws surged, and their killing intent was terrifying. Kid, this is not good. Chapter 739. The 14 great Dao realm experts pressed down, all of them exuding powerful waves of Dao laws. Each of them had sinister killing intents, causing the entire space to tremble slightly. A lot of crushed rocks and gravel on the ground flew up into the air. That person is really in trouble this time. 14 great Dao realm experts. That person is probably, many cultivators' expressions changed. 14 powerhouses had surrounded him. That kind of lineup was no joke. Damn it, these bastards have sealed the surrounding space. It's impossible to escape. Whooshing Crocodile's expression did not look too good. Escape? There's no need for that. Lin Tian's eyes were cold. Today, since they came to this place, none of them can leave alive. All of them will be buried here. Hearing this, Whooshing Crocodile was stunned. Many other cultivators were stunned. What did he say? Was he shocked silly by the dozen or so great Dao realm experts? Many cultivators were puzzled. 14 great Dao realm experts pressed down and sealed the surroundings. They wanted to kill Lin Tian, who was at the Immortal Ascension realm. However, facing such a lineup, Lin Tian actually said such words. He actually said that he wanted to kill all of these great Dao realm experts. This was really shocking. Whooshing Crocodile could not help but stare. Kid, have you really gone silly? You're about to die, yet you're still pretending to be mysterious and showing off. The gaze of the Stone God Clan Saint was like a knife. Almost at the same time, the 14 great Dao realm experts from the insect clan moved in unison. All of them pressed down on Lin Tian. 14 waves of killing intent surged. These people all had killing intent on their faces. They were sinister and ruthless. All of them grabbed at Lin Tian. Whooshing Crocodile's expression changed drastically. With such a lineup, even if Lin Tian had several Sex Dao soldiers and more than 100 immortal artifacts, it would be useless for him to use his weapon control technique. After all, the difference in cultivation was too great. Damn it. If Lord Crocodile's cultivation was still here, I wouldn't have allowed this group of brats to be so arrogant. I would have killed them all with a slap. It cursed. Lin Tian didn't show any emotion, and his eyes were cold. He raised his hands and formed a seal at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. Suddenly, the entire palace shook. At this time, no one could see that in the circular corridor surrounding the palace, a stone pillar suddenly glowed. The patterns of flowers, plants, birds, and beasts on it all lit up. Then, in this corridor, the second stone pillar lit up, the third stone pillar lit up, the fourth stone pillar lit up. In the blink of an eye, in the circular corridor surrounding this palace, a total of 8 stone pillars emitted a dazzling light. Lines of patterns interweaved and spread out in all directions. Boom! The entire palace shook violently. With Lin Tian as the center, a majestic aura suddenly appeared, as vast as the ocean. Pooh! 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 The 14 great Dao realm experts who had rushed over were all sent flying, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. The Stone God Saint's countenance changed. The 2 great Dao realm experts behind him were also astonished. What's going on? At the same time, the other cultivators were also shocked, and their faces were filled with shock. 14 great Dao realm experts are actually all. This palace is trembling. It seems like it's being sealed by another terrifying power. Everyone looked at Lin Tian. Whooshing Crocodile naturally had its eyes wide open. Brat, what did you do? Whooshing Crocodile could naturally see that, or rather, everyone here could see that this sudden change was related to Lin Tian. Nothing much. I just activated a great formation. Lin Tian Dao. When he first entered this palace, when he saw that there was actually a stone pillar in the middle of the circular corridor surrounding the palace, he felt that it was a little strange. He was very curious. When he stared at the bird patterns on the stone pillar, he couldn't help but reach out to touch it. It was also that touch that instantly shocked him. He discovered that there was actually an extremely weak soul power circulating in the bird patterns. Those bird patterns were actually formation runes. At that time, he secretly circulated the Heavenly One Soul technique and discovered that there were 7 auras similar to the stone pillar in front of him in the circular corridor of the palace. There were actually 7 other stone pillars. On the other 7 stone pillars, there were also secret formation runes formed by the bird patterns. These 7 stone pillars were combined with the stone pillar in front of him. Each of them stood in a special position and interweaved to form a myriad mystery 8 trigrams formation that enveloped the entire palace. The myriad mystery 8 trigrams formation could be used for defense, suppression, and killing. It was a very extraordinary formation. At that moment, he also knew that this palace was very unusual and very special. There must be a great secret in it. At that time, before he left the stone pillar, he placed his right hand on the pillar and secretly channeled the divine One Soul mantra, infusing his soul power into it. After that, the powerful soul power slowly flowed through the entire formation, activating it and taking control of it in his hands. You activated this great formation? What great formation? When did you carve it? How can you carve such a powerful formation? Whooshing Crocodile asked again and again. It was really too surprised. At this time, it could clearly feel that this palace was enveloped by a very vast power. The kind of power seemed to be able to suppress even ordinary early-stage Wuxian powerhouses. Someone else carved it, but now it's mine. Lin Tiandao. He and Wuxing Crocodile refined some fragments of the immortal Ling Jing in the stone chamber where the demonic middle-aged man was sealed. When he walked out of the stone chamber, he heard some cultivators saying that this palace was the main palace of the strongest holy land in the fourth heaven in the past. It was refined into a magic weapon to capture the source vein that had turned into a spirit. At that time, he understood more clearly why there were 8 stone pillars in this palace that formed such a great formation. Back then, the Holy Land wanted to rely on this great formation to suppress the source vein that had turned into a spirit. At that time, that Holy Land failed, but this great formation was preserved. After he injected his soul power into it to activate it, this great formation now belongs to him and is under his control. Boom! Terrifying fluctuations interweaved, enveloping the entire palace. Rays of killing light condensed and manifested. These rays of killing light were very terrifying, causing the cultivators to panic. Even the great Dao realm powerhouses of the insect clan couldn't help but tremble, feeling a great threat. These rays of killing light, many cultivators panicked. Looking at this space, the rays of killing light were too terrifying. How could these ordinary cultivators not be afraid? Even the Wind Clan's Holy Sun and a few other super powerhouses of the younger generation couldn't help but frown, their eyes filled with shock. Those who have nothing to do with the 7 clans leave. Lin Tian spoke. His voice was very cold. He didn't look at the other cultivators. His gaze only fell on the great Dao realm powerhouses of the insect clan. Many cultivators trembled. Without hesitation, many people immediately moved, running out of the palace along the path they came from. At this time, the rays of killing light in this place were too many and too terrifying. Clearly, this was done by Lin Tian. And now Lin Tian said such a thing. How could these people still dare to stay? They were afraid that they would be hit by these rays of killing light if they weren't careful. At this time, even the Giant Clan's Holy Sun and the Wind Clan's Holy Sun didn't stay. They all rushed out of the palace. The rays of killing light interweaved in this space. When these people left, they hummed and trembled, but they didn't strike down. Holy Sun, let's go too. Behind the Holy Sun of the Stone God clan, a great Dao realm powerhouse spoke. Being in this palace, he felt a great threat. Clang! The rays of killing light were like swords, clanging and pressing down in the blink of an eye. The expression of the great Dao realm expert from the Stone God race who spoke changed drastically, and he tried to block the attack. However, he was sent flying in an instant. Half of his body was crushed into pieces, and it took him several breaths before he managed to reassemble his body. He looked at Lin Tian with a grim countenance. I've said it before. None of you from the 7 clans can think of leaving. Lin Tiandao. The Holy Son of the Stone God clan stared at Lin Tian. His expression changed again and again. At this moment, he felt a chill down his spine. Lin Tian ignored him. He turned his head and stared at the 14 great Dao realm powerhouses. His gaze landed on the 4 members of the Bud clan. Boom! The myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation shook. Dense rays of killing light surged like waves, pressing down majestically. Yoopft! In the blink of an eye, one of the 4 members of the Bud clan was enveloped by the killing light. His body exploded on the spot. Beast! This Bud clan powerhouse sent out a divine consciousness roar. His shattered body wriggled crazily and quickly gathered toward the center. Lin Tian's gaze was cold. The yin-yang lotus sea swayed and floated out. It directly turned into a yin-yang lotus diagram and pressed forward. Great Dao realm powerhouses could reform their bodies after being crushed. Right now, he wouldn't give the other party the chance to reform their bodies. The other 3 great Dao realm powerhouses of the Bug clan naturally understood Lin Tian's intentions. They also sensed how terrifying Lin Tian's yin-yang lotus diagram was. They instantly moved and tried to stop him. Clang! 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 Lin Tian stood on the spot. With a thought, the entire palace shook again. Dense rays of killing light slashed down, completely sealing the space in all directions. They directly sent the three Bug Clan powerhouses who tried to stop him flying. At the same time, it also caused the great Dao realm powerhouses of the other major clans to suffer. Some of them had their arms crushed by the killing light. Buzz! The yin-yang lotus diagram finally descended. Together with the dense yin-yang lotus diagram, it enveloped the great Dao realm powerhouse who was reconstructing his body and crushed him mercilessly. Ah! A tragic cry rang out. The flesh and blood that the great Dao realm powerhouse had gathered exploded once again. His soul was also shattered within. After stepping into the fourth heaven of the immortal ascension realm, Lin Tian's divine consciousness became stronger. Naturally, the yin-yang lotus sea phenomenon also became stronger. Now, together with the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation's full-powered attack, he wiped out a great Dao realm powerhouse of the Bug Clan in the blink of an eye. Instantly, the expressions of the cultivators of the 7 clans who were forced here changed. A great Dao realm powerhouse was killed so easily. The remaining 3 great Dao realm powerhouses of the Bug Clan were enraged to the extreme. The killing intent in their eyes became even stronger, and they were filled with malevolence. Be *starred. You deserve to die. You deserve to die. Lin Tian had slaughtered more than 20 of their branch clans, killed 3 of their great Dao realm powerhouses, killed their young supreme, and snatched their strongest weapon. Now he had killed another great Dao realm powerhouse. Chapter 740. The 3 bug race powerhouses roared angrily and stared at Lin Tian viciously. A great Dao powerhouse was not simple. In a large race, it would take a long time for one to appear. But now, Lin Tian had killed one of their great Dao powerhouses. Damn it! Damn it! The 3 bug race powerhouses roared. Lin Tian's eyes were cold, without the slightest fluctuation in his emotions. Brat, well done! The 5-element crocodile cried out. Just now, these dozen or so cultivators of the great Dao had pressed over with killing intent. Yet now, one of them had been killed by Lin Tian in the blink of an eye, and this caused him to feel great satisfaction. Lin Tian stared at the 3 bug race powerhouses. It won't be long before your bug race is completely wiped out. I mean what I say. If I don't wipe out your race, I will never enter the upper heavens. His voice was merciless. Boom! The myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation rumbled. Beams of killing light interweaved, forming a rain of killing light that quickly enveloped them. The 3 bug race powerhouses were enveloped by the killing light, and their expressions instantly changed. Disperse! Bug Jade! Bug Kill! The 3 powerhouses felt a great threat. They roared together and activated their powerful bug race mystical abilities. Lin Tian's expression was cold. He activated the Heavenly One Soul technique, and for a moment, the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation became even more turbulent. The void rumbled and directly shattered. This formation was used by that sacred ground to help suppress the origin vein that was invincible in the Enlightenment realm. It was enough to show how terrifying it was. Now, it was used to deal with a few great Dao realm cultivators. Even though Lin Tian was at the 4th tier of the Immortal Ascension realm and couldn't unleash the full power of this formation, it was enough to kill a few ordinary great Dao cultivators. With a boom, dense killing light pressed down like a river of stars falling. Pooh! 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 The mystical abilities of the 3 bug race powerhouses were crushed. The 3 of them were sent flying, and they coughed up large mouthfuls of blood in the air. Lin Tian's eyes were cold. With a thought, the dense killing light directly charged towards the 3 bug race powerhouses. Fellow Daoist helping the insect race, an ant race expert shouted. A Dao realm expert quickly attacked, using his divine ability to shatter the formation lights. At the same time, the other great clans experts also took action, divine ability radiance flying everywhere. Naturally, These people did not lend a helping hand to the three powerhouses of the insect tribe out of kindness. Instead, it was because they were all trapped in the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation and could feel how terrifying it was. Losing one of them would put the others in greater danger. Now, they couldn't let anyone else die. Only by keeping everyone alive could they hope to break the formation and kill Lin Tian. The three powerhouses from the bug tribe steadied themselves and thanked the powerhouses from the ant tribe. They stared at Lin Tian with even more unsightly expressions. Of course, they also became even more vicious. Let's work together and use all our strength to break this formation, an expert from the Bone clan said. All right. The experts from the other clans nodded. Clang, clang, clang. Killing lights rumbled like swords. They were densely packed and instantly pressed down. Over 10 Dao realm experts were preparing to work together. At this moment, when they were pressed down by the dense killing lights, their expressions instantly changed. With a rumble, the killing lights pressed down from all directions, forcing everyone to dodge pathetically. You guys won't have a chance? Lin Tian's voice was cold. A killing light that was about 3 meters long descended from the sky, cutting across the sky. In the blink of an eye, it arrived above the head of a Dao realm expert from the bug tribe. Youpft! This beam of killing light condensed from the killing intent core of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation, directly slashing this great Dao realm expert from the bug race into pieces. Then, with a buzz, the yin-yang lotus sea streaked past. Under the shocked and enraged gazes of the other 2 experts from the bug race, together with the boundless killing light from the formation, the faint spirit of this bug race expert was instantly crushed. Human, the 2 Dao realm experts from the bug tribe roared. In the blink of an eye, another Dao realm expert from their side was killed by Lin Tiansha. At the same time, the other Dao realm experts felt a chill in their hearts. They once again felt how terrifying the formation they were in was. How can there be such a powerful formation in this place? How can it be controlled by him? It's said that this bastard is an array controller above level 6. Damn it. The expressions of these Dao realm experts were all grim. The expressions of the 2 bug tribe experts were especially grim. 4 Dao realm experts had charged here, but now 2 of them were killed in the blink of an eye. 2 Dao realm experts had actually disappeared just like that. What kind of loss was this? The 2 experts roared in unison. They each took out their core secret techniques and attacked Lin Tian crazily. Attack together. Kill this bastard and stop him from controlling the formation, an expert from the wizard tribe said. Instantly, the group of experts moved. Vast waves of Dao laws surged, pressing down on Lin Tian together. Lin Tian's expression was cold. He was not moved at all as he stood quietly on the spot. Boom! In the circular corridor of this palace, 8 stone pillars shone. 8 resplendent beams of light shot up and shot over. This is 8 beams of killing light pressed down together, directly piercing through one of the bug tribe's great Dao realm experts. At the same time that his physical body was shattered, dense cracks also appeared on his spirit. He was like a cracked ceramic that was about to shatter at the next moment. Ah! This bug tribe expert let out a tragic cry. Cracks appeared on his spirit, and he instantly became extremely weak. Lin Tian's gaze was cold. The yin-yang lotus sea trembled, turning into a 7-foot lotus sword that slashed down mercilessly from the sky. With a swoosh, the 3rd Dao realm expert from the bug tribe was crushed, his body and spirit destroyed. The last bug tribe expert trembled, feeling both shocked and furious. No, it can't be. It can't be. Their tribe had sent 4 Dao realm experts here, but how long had it been? 3 Dao realm experts had been killed, all of their bodies and spirits destroyed. It let out a loud roar, looking at Lin Tian with a ferocious gaze and endless killing intent. Human, you should, clang. An ear-piercing roar resounded. Dense killing lights pressed down on the insectoid at lightning speed, enveloping the insectoid. The killing light's might was terrifying. With a swoosh, it directly slashed this bug tribe expert into pieces. blood splattered in the void bit by bit. It was a ghastly sight. Buzz! The yin-yang lotus sea swayed, condensing into a yin-yang lotus diagram. It unleashed the might of this sea of consciousness phenomenon to the extreme and mercilessly slashed down. The expressions of the experts from the other great clans changed. Stop him! Instantly, the Tao realm experts of these great clans all took action. They unleashed their mystical abilities and secret techniques, pressing down on the yin-yang lotus sea. Lin Tian had long known that they would do this, so he didn't care at all. The 8 stone pillars on the circular corridor shone brightly once again, and 8 violent beams of killing light directly shot over. Each of them was more than 3 zhang long, and it shocked the great Tao cultivators of the few great clans. Just now, all of them had witnessed how powerful the 8 killing lights were. They instantly pierced through a second heaven Tao realm expert from the bug tribe. Even his divine spirit was struck with dense cracks. It was extremely terrifying. Now, they were afraid that the 8 killing lights would press down on them. For a moment, they couldn't help but retreat. The power of their mystical abilities was instantly reduced greatly. Lin Tian's gaze was indifferent. The 8 ultimate killing lights acted as a deterrent. The other dense killing lights blocked the mystical abilities of the experts from the great clans, which were already much weaker. The yin-yang lotus diagram directly enveloped the shattered flesh of the last bug tribe expert. Ah! A shrill scream rang out. The last Tao realm expert from the bug tribe was slain, his body and spirit destroyed. In an instant, this place was dead silent. The expressions of the Tao realm experts from the great clans changed drastically. This lad is strong. The whooshing crocodile laughed maniacally. This scene really made it feel very good. However, while it was delighted, the expressions of the great Tao realm experts from the bone race were extremely ugly. At this moment, all of them felt the threat of death as they stood in the great formation. All of them were trembling in fear. On the other side, the saint from the Stone God clan had an ashen expression. He had led so many experts here, but he didn't expect to see such a scene. Lin Tian tilted his head and looked at the group. It's your turn now. These 4 words were calm and indifferent, causing all the experts to tremble. Their expressions turned even uglier. Lin Tian's tone made it clear that he was looking down on them. A Tao realm expert from the ant tribe said coldly, "Be *starred, don't be complacent. With your cultivation at the Celestial Ascension realm, how long do you think your soul power and divine power can last for to control such a formation? Last until I kill you all?" Lin Tian looked over. With a boom, the 8 ultimate killing lights shone brightly and directly pressed down, enveloping the Tao realm expert from the ant tribe. The ant tribe expert's expression changed drastically. He quickly activated the ant tribe's divine power. However, the speed of the 8 killing lights was extremely fast. Before the ant tribe expert could really support his divine power, the 8 killing lights had already landed and directly tore him into pieces. Ah! The ant tribe expert screamed and roared. His flesh and blood completely evaporated, and his divine soul was covered in huge cracks. Lin Tian supported the phenomenon in his sea of consciousness. Without any hesitation, he directly pressed down. "Don't even think about it." Another Tao realm expert from the ant tribe roared. At the same time, the Tao realm experts from the other large clans also attacked to stop him. Lin Tian's expression didn't change much. He raised his hand to form a seal, and the divine one-soul technique circulated even faster. Resplendent soul light interweaved on the surface of his entire body, making him look holy and dignified. Boom! The myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation shook violently, and the palace trembled once again. Dense patterns quickly spread out from the stone pillars in the circular corridor. In the blink of an eye, they covered the entire palace. The killing intent suddenly rose several times. Buzz! These patterns shone brightly. Birds rushed out. Ferocious beasts manifested. Forests pressed down, and rivers trembled. All of them were condensed from killing lights. They were far stronger than ordinary killing lights. They pressed down on the group of experts in a mighty manner. The expressions of the experts instantly changed again. They attacked at the same time, activating even more divine techniques to protect themselves. However, these transformed killing lights were too powerful. They could be said to be unstoppable. Puff, puff, puff. The group of Tao Realm experts was sent flying. They each coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. Some of them had half their bodies crushed. Chapter 741. The group of experts felt a chill in their hearts. How long had it been? More than a dozen great Tao experts had surrounded and attacked, but 5 of them had been killed. Their bodies and souls had all been destroyed, causing these experts to feel a sense of panic. Some of them even felt a chill down their spines. Damn it! A great Tao expert from the ant race roared furiously, his eyes red. Lin Tian tilted his head and looked over. Without saying anything unnecessary, with a thought, dense killing light directly drowned out the ant race expert. Boom! With a rumble, the killing light rang out sonorously, surging up like a divine sword. This great Tao realm expert from the ant race activated a great magical ability to resist. But how could he block the dense killing light of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation? He was directly shattered into pieces, and blood splattered everywhere. Roar! This ant race expert let out a roar and quickly reformed his physical body. The other experts from the bone race and the other great Tao experts went up to protect their bodies. They launched various magical abilities and secret techniques to meet the light of the formation. Lin Tian's eyes were indifferent. His right leg stepped on the ground and shook fiercely. Roar! Ear-piercing dragon roars sounded. More than a dozen pitch-black dragons rushed out from the ground. Each of them was more than 100 feet long, and they were intertwined with a dense aura of death. The moment they rushed out, they pressed down on the group of experts. It was as if more than a dozen true dragons had appeared. The whooshing crocodile widened his eyes. At the same time, the expressions of the bone race and the other great Tao realm experts also changed. When they saw the dozen or so dragons, they were all greatly shocked. Roar! The dozen or so death dragons roared, their voices shaking the sky and suppressing all directions. Dragon patterns spread under Lin Tian's feet. He used the dragon burial scripture to guide the endless aura of death underground, guiding it up and condensing it into more than a dozen corrosive dragons. Together with the killing light of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation, they attacked the group of experts. The bone race and the other great Tao realm experts didn't dare to be careless. They could all sense that these pitch-black dragons were very unusual. The main reason was that the aura of death was too dense, as if it could corrupt one's soul. Boom! These experts all used the great techniques of their respective races to meet the dozen or so pitch-black dragons that attacked. The space between Lin Tian's brows flickered with light. The yin-yang lotus sea swayed and released a brilliant light. It turned into a 7-foot-long lotus sword and furiously slashed down. With a sizzling sound, the second great Tao expert of the ant tribe, who was in the midst of regrowing his flesh, shattered. His spirit shattered, and he died on the spot. Good. Continue. Whooshing crocodile shouted. Lin Tian tilted his head, and the dragon patterns on the soles of his feet flickered, drawing out even more death dragons. At the same time, he activated the Heavenly One Soul spell, causing the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation to boil even more. Birds, beasts, mountains, and rivers appeared one after another, all condensed from the vast killing light. His divine sense spread out, guiding the dense black dragons, birds, beasts, mountains, and rivers to kill, mercilessly pressing in all directions. Pooh! 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 The bone race masters were sent flying, each of them coughing up blood. Lin Tian took a step forward and moved. He appeared in front of an early-stage great Tao expert of the Dark Shadow clan and punched out. The expression of this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe changed. You boom! The powerful punch was unstoppable, causing the great Tao elite's heart to tremble. He was shocked by such a powerful physique. With a puff, this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe was directly sent flying. Cracks appeared on his powerful Tao body. It was also at this moment that the dense killing light behind this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe rushed over and landed on his body. Pooh! Instantly, this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe was torn apart. Only his spirit rushed up and quickly regrown his physical body. Lin Tian snorted and stepped forward. With a boom, dozens of pitch-black dragons moved with him in this space. They immediately drowned the spirit of this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe, causing him to cry out in pain. These pitch-black dragons were all condensed from the filthy aura of death. They possessed powerful corrosive power. After exploding, they frenziedly corroded the spirit of this Dark Shadow tribe master. Buzz! The yin-yang lotus sea swayed. A lotus sword appeared in Lin Tian's hand, and he directly slashed down. With a swish, the spirit of this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe was shattered on the spot. He tilted his head. His eyes were indifferent and emotionless as he stared at the second great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe. Clang! With a thought, the killing light clanged like a divine sword. This great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe was shocked and furious. He supported the Dark Shadow tribe's super remarkable power. However, he couldn't block it at all. The killing light of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation directly tore apart the remarkable power that he had supported. Damn thing, you will die a horrible death. This Dark Shadow tribe master roared. Lin Tian didn't show much emotion. Unfortunately, the one who is going to die now is you, all of you. His voice was indifferent and emotionless. His hands formed seals, and the 8 stone pillars in the circular corridor once again emitted a dazzling light. More patterns spread out. Each pattern was like a bolt of destructive lightning. He raised his hand and forcefully pulled out a killing sword from these patterns. It was about 3 feet long and was completely condensed from the killing intent of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation. Clang! He waved the huge sword, his expression indifferent as he slashed it straight ahead. This great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe tried his best to resist, but it was useless. He was instantly torn apart by this huge sword. After that, almost in an instant, the patterns that spread out in this space immediately shone brightly. Dense killing light interweaved and once again enveloped the shattered physical body of this great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe. Ah! This great Tao elite from the Dark Shadow tribe let out a tragic cry. The killing light crushed past, shattering his flesh and severely injuring his spirit time and time again. Lin Tian's speed was extremely fast. He charged past, and the yin-yang lotus diagram in his right hand pressed down, directly shattering this great Tao elite spirit. In the blink of an eye, 8 great Tao realm cultivators who came here died. He stood in this space with a cold expression. The streaks of killing light that crisscrossed the space made him look like a deity. This won't do. The formation here is too strong. We can't block it. An elite from the Bone tribe gritted his teeth. Retreat! Shatter the formation barrier here. We have to retreat. An elite from the Sorcerer tribe said. The 2 great Tao elites from the Blood Wolf tribe also nodded. At this moment, they were trapped by the formation and were in an absolutely disadvantageous position. If this continued, they might all be killed here before Lin Tian's divine power and soul power were exhausted. The 2 great Tao elites from the Stone God tribe protected the holy son of the Stone God tribe. They scanned the surroundings and began to use their magical powers to break out of the encirclement. The holy son of the Stone God tribe had a ferocious look in his eyes. He stared at Lin Tian with an extremely vicious gaze. The whooshing crocodile was displeased. Damn it, even great Tao elites are no match for this formation and are being killed one by one. This little bastard actually dares to look at me with such a vicious gaze. This really pisses this crocodile off. Brat, kill him first? Lin Tian tilted his head and his gaze landed on the holy son of the stone god tribe. He did not say anything and directly stepped forward. The expressions of the two great Tao elites from the stone god tribe instantly changed. They sensed Lin Tian's intention. Human, stop. You will not have a good ending if you offend our tribe. One of the great Tao elites from the stone god tribe said in a low voice, "You should know that our tribe overlooks this region of the sky. We are far from being comparable to other tribes." Boom! The killing light was like an ocean, surging forward mightily. It directly blasted the great Tao elite from the stone god tribe away, and his body exploded on the spot. Lin Tian stepped forward and stared at the holy son of the stone god tribe. With a shift of his mind, the dense killing light condensed once again. He pressed down with his right hand, and the killing light trembled like a falling galaxy. "Damn it!" The other great Tao elite from the stone god tribe roared. He activated the stone god tribe's great technique and stood in front of the holy son of the stone god tribe. At the same time, the stone god elite who had been blasted to pieces reassembled his physical body. He also stepped forward to meet the killing light of the great formation. The holy son of the stone god tribe had extraordinary talent. He was a peerless genius that was hard to come by in thousands of years. These two stone god elites naturally would not watch the holy son of the stone god tribe be killed like this. Boom! The two extraordinary great techniques rushed up against the sky, rumbling loudly. However, this myriad mystic 8 trigrams array was too extraordinary. The killing light condensed from it was too powerful. It directly tore apart the two great techniques. With two bangs, the two great Tao realm elites from the stone god tribe were sent flying. Lin Tian stepped forward. The dragon patterns under his feet flickered, and the dragon roars reverberated in all directions. More than a dozen pitch-black dragons rushed up again. He stared at the holy son of the stone god tribe with an indifferent gaze. At the same time, there was disdain and mockery in his eyes. "Die!" With a shift of his mind, the dozens of dragons pressed down together. At the same time, the dense killing light of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams array also slashed down. The holy son of the stone god tribe's expression finally changed drastically. He roared wildly and supported the stone god tribe's great technique to resist. However, this killing light could even crush a great Tao elite. Moreover, at this moment, Lin Tian's attack was even more ruthless. How could the holy son of the stone god tribe's great technique withstand it? In the blink of an eye, it was torn apart by the killing light. The dense killing light pressed down without slowing down. The holy son of the stone god tribe trembled, and fear appeared in his eyes. The killing light pressed down, and together with the dozens of dragons, it directly enveloped him. At the same time, the other two great Tao realm elites from the stone god tribe stabilized their bodies that were sent flying backward. They just happened to see this scene, and their expressions instantly changed drastically. "Human, stop. If you kill our holy son, there will be no place for you in this celestial region." The two great elites roared and quickly rushed over at the same time. Lin Tian's eyes were emotionless, only disdain. "This celestial region belongs to your tribe?" he asked coldly. With a shift of his mind, the dense killing light of the myriad mystic 8 trigrams array and the dozens of pitch-black dragons pressed down. Under the horrified gaze of the holy son of the stone god tribe, he was crushed into pieces with a puff. Unlike the great Tao elites, the holy son of the stone god tribe did not have Tao laws protecting him. He was directly killed and disappeared from the world. "Well done!" Whooshing Crocodile laughed loudly. "Ah, beast! Damn it! You deserve to die!" The two great Tao elites from the stone god tribe roared wildly. Their eyes instantly turned red, and their eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. They pounced crazily at Lin Tian. "Our tribe will not let you off. You will definitely die without a burial ground." One of them roared. Lin Tian snorted coldly and directed the dense killing light to press forward, directly enveloping the roaring stone god clan cultivator. With a puff, this person was crushed, and blood splattered everywhere. Lin Tian's glabella shone brightly. The yin-yang lotus sea swayed, condensing a 7-foot-long yin-yang lotus sword that directly slashed forward. It was also at this moment that a ghostly howl came from the palace behind them. 3 terrifying auras of death surged over like 3 torrents of death, causing the temperature of this space to suddenly drop greatly. Chapter 742. Pitch-black mist swept past, and the aura of death was incomparably strong. In the blink of an eye, 3 rotting corpses rushed into this space from the palace in front. Their bodies were covered with red hair, and their ghostly eyes were eerie. They looked ferocious and savage. Damn it, why did these 3 things rush here? Whooshing crocodile glared. Were they attracted by the smell of blood here? These 3 rotting corpses were the 3 divine ghosts that first appeared. The corners of their mouths were stained with bright red blood. Clearly, before they came here, they had killed many cultivators and devoured a lot of flesh and blood essence. Roar! The 3 divine ghosts roared. Their ghostly eyes were red, and the black yin-chi around their bodies was frighteningly thick. They were really like the messengers of death. Such a shocking aura of death made even the great Dao realm powerhouses of the Bone clan change their expressions. They were all shocked. Lin Tian's expression was very calm. He glanced at the 3 divine ghosts. This time he was not afraid. Among the 3 divine ghosts, 2 of them noticed Lin Tian. They were the 2 that chased after Lin Tian and Whooshing Crocodile previously. At this moment, they stared at Lin Tian as if they had thought of something and could not help but tremble. Do you still remember what happened before? Are you afraid? Whooshing Crocodile wanted to laugh out loud. Roar! At this moment, a ruthless roar sounded again. The 3 divine ghosts moved, and a vast aura of death surged. They were like 3 divine seas of death, and they charged directly at the Bone Clan powerhouses in this space. The great Dao realm powerhouses of the Bone Clan could sense the terror of the 3 divine ghosts. They did not dare to be careless and used their nomological powers to suppress them. Roar! The divine ghosts roared, almost ignoring the nomological powers of the powerhouses. Their black, ghostly hands directly tore through everything. Whooshing Crocodile clicked his tongue and said, "How savage." Boom! The Bone Clan powerhouses all displayed their great powers and fought fiercely against the 3 divine ghosts. Divine light and dark light filled this space. At this moment, Lin Tian tilted his head and stared at one of the stone divines who was condensing his body. With a thought, the dense killing light of the formation directly pressed down, enveloping the stone divines. Ah! The expert from the Stone God clan screamed in agony as his flesh was once again sliced apart by the killing light. Moreover, it only took an instant for Lin Tian to activate the yin-yang lotus sea and mercilessly suppress his spirit body. With a chi sound, the Stone God clan's expert's soul shattered, and his body and soul were destroyed. The other great Dao cultivator from the Stone God clan watched this scene unfold before his eyes. It was too late to stop him. He immediately roared furiously, and his eyes turned even redder. B***starred. He roared in rage. He unleashed a great spell of the Stone God clan and charged straight at Lin Tian. Lin Tian didn't show any emotion. With a single thought, a tyrannical killing light fell like a vast ocean, pressing down on the Stone God clan cultivator. Bang! The Stone God race expert's divine art was crushed and he was blown away, landing right next to one of the divine ghosts. This divine ghost pounced over and bit off the throat of the Stone God clan cultivator. Then, it grabbed the body of the Stone God clan cultivator ferociously and absorbed all the blood essence in his body. Even his spirit body was swallowed. Such a scene undoubtedly shocked the great Dao realm powerhouses of the Bone clan. All of them were moved. Roar! The divine ghost swallowed the flesh and blood of the Stone God clan cultivator. Its eyes were red. Suddenly, it fixed its gaze on Lin Tian and directly pounced over. With a boom, ghostly fog of death curled up and pressed down on Lin Tian like a torrent of death. This one, I didn't sense the aura of the divine egg in your body before, the whooshing crocodile said. Can you deal with it? Lin Tian didn't say anything. With a single thought, the densely packed killing light of the great formation pressed down on the divine ghost. At the same time, he stomped his right leg on the ground and shook it slightly. Immediately, an ear-piercing dragon's roar resounded in all directions. A dozen pitch-black dragons rushed up, and together with a dense killing light, pressed forward. With a bang, the oncoming divine light was knocked back dozens of feet away. The whooshing crocodile was astonished. Not bad. The divine ghost that was knocked away roared and didn't pounce on Lin Tian anymore. Instead, it pounced on a great Dao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan. This great Dao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan was dealing with the ferocious pouncing of another divine ghost. At this moment, he encountered another divine ghost that was pressing down on him. He was unlucky on the spot and had one of his arms torn off by this divine ghost. Blood splattered everywhere. Vile creatures! This Bone Clan powerhouse was enraged. The severed arm condensed in the blink of an eye and directly activated one of the Bone Clan's core mystical abilities, sending the two divine ghosts flying. However, this didn't cause too much damage to the two divine ghosts. With a roar, they actually pounced over again. This Bone Clan powerhouse was shocked and furious. Saber bones swept through this space. Retreat from here first? Another great Dao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan roared. At the same time, the Blood Wolf tribe, Sorcerer tribe, and other powerhouses also spoke. They worked together and blasted out the light of mystical abilities, wanting to shatter the barrier of the Grand Formation and kill their way out. At this moment, only 6 of the dozen or so powerhouses were left. They were all intimidated by this Grand Formation. In addition, at this moment, the 3 divine ghosts rushed over, causing them to fall into an even more dangerous situation. They had to leave this place. Clang, clang, clang. Killing lights clanged, pressing down on the 6 powerhouses like a sea of swords. The expressions of the 6 powerhouses changed. One of them was penetrated on the spot, and blood splattered all over the sky. I've already said that none of you can leave this place alive. Lin Tian's voice was indifferent. With a slight thought, the densely packed killing lights pressed down. At this moment, they cooperated with the 3 divine ghosts to attack the 6 powerhouses. This undoubtedly made the powerhouses of the Bone Clan even more furious. Beast, if you cooperate with them to attack us, when the time comes, if we are in trouble, you won't have a good ending either. You will be torn to pieces by them. A powerhouse of the Blood Wolf tribe roared angrily. Lin Tian's expression was calm. You're thinking too much. As his words fell, he circulated the divine one-soul technique. The myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation became even more turbulent. Streaks of killing lights pressed down densely, directly shattering the powerhouse of the Blood Wolf tribe who spoke. After that, almost at the same time, the 3 divine ghosts directly pounced over. Like hungry wolves fighting for food, they swallowed all of his flesh and spirit into their stomachs. In the blink of an eye, there were still 5 great Dao realm powerhouses left. All of them trembled, and their faces turned pale. At this moment, the 5 of them regretted their actions. At the same time, they were incomparably furious. They had come here to hunt down Lin Tian. With over a dozen great Dao realm powerhouses pressuring together, they should have been able to kill Lin Tian with 100% certainty. However, who would have thought that there was actually a terrifying ancient formation in this place? Moreover, this formation was actually already under the control of Lin Tian. It was as if they had plunged headfirst into a dead zone. And now, the 3 terrifying divine ghosts had rushed over here, putting them in even more danger. Ah! A great Dao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan was grabbed by a divine ghost. His body was forcefully torn apart, and all his blood essence was sucked away. At the same time, his spirit was also annihilated. Roar! The 3 divine ghosts roared fiercely. Their eyes were ferocious, and their red hair trembled as they pounced toward the other 4 great Tao realm powerhouses. Instantly, the expressions of the 4 great Tao realm powerhouses changed. The aura of death around the bodies of the 3 divine ghosts was like an ocean of death, causing their hearts to tremble. They activated one mystical ability after another to face the 3 divine ghosts, not daring to be careless in the slightest. Boom! Killing intent soared up like blazing flames. With a single thought from Lin Tian, killing lights that took the form of bird and beast diagrams appeared once again, pressing down on the 4 great Tao realm powerhouses with great momentum. With a sound, the last great Tao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan was directly crushed. His flesh and blood were devoured by one of the divine ghosts, leaving behind only a wisp of his spirit that escaped pathetically from his shattered body. However, it was also at this moment that the light of Yin and Yang flashed in the sky. Lin Tian's Yin Yang Lotus Sea avatar directly pressed down. The countenance of this great Tao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan instantly changed drastically. No, stop, Chi. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. Under the pressure of the Yin Yang Lotus Sea, it directly crushed the spirit of this great Tao realm powerhouse of the Bone Clan into pieces. In the blink of an eye, there were only 3 people left in this place. 1 from the Blood Wolf race and 2 from the Witch race. Young man, let's stop here. We can pretend that nothing happened, an expert from the Witch race said in a low voice. There weren't many people in the world who weren't afraid of death. At this moment, the Witch race's experts started to show weakness, not wanting to die here. Lin Tian tilted his head and looked over, smiling disdainfully. If he let them go now, would they really pretend that nothing had happened? This was just a joke. Moreover, these people were here to kill him. He didn't take the initiative to provoke them. The death of the Witch race's saint was also his own fault. When these people came to kill him, they didn't succeed and were forced to death by him. Now that they were showing weakness and begging for mercy, would he let them go? Absolutely impossible. Clang! The killing light clanged and directly pressed down. To enemies, killing them was the best choice. Puff! The great Tao realm powerhouse of the Witch race exploded. The 3 divine ghosts rushed forward and directly devoured his flesh and spirit. The last powerhouse of the Witch race roared. He was incomparably shocked and furious. His entire body shone with a black light. Damn you! This person roared. Lin Tian didn't say anything and directly pressed down with the killing light. At the same time, the 3 divine ghosts also roared and pounced forward in unison. The killing light surged, and the ghostly aura was eerie. With a puff, the last great Tao realm powerhouse of the Witch race was torn apart. His flesh, blood, and spirit were all devoured by the 3 divine ghosts. He was deader than dead. There's only one left, Whooshing Crocodile said. Lin Tian looked ahead. In this space, of the dozen or so great Tao realm powerhouses who came to kill him, only the Blood Wolf tribe remained. The great Tao realm powerhouse of the Blood Wolf tribe trembled, and his eyes were filled with fear. Roar! The 3 divine ghosts let out ghostly howls and directly pounced over. The great Tao realm powerhouse of the Blood Wolf tribe was instantly pushed to the ground. He was pressed to the ground by the 3 divine ghosts and was eaten by them. He let out a shrill scream. However, this scream didn't last for long. After about a dozen breaths, the scream completely disappeared. Looking over, on the ground, the great Tao realm powerhouse of the Blood Wolf tribe was only left with a ghastly white skeleton. His flesh and blood had all been devoured by the 3 divine ghosts, and his spirit had also been devoured. Roar! 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 The 3 divine ghosts roared fiercely. The ghostly fog around their bodies became even more tyrannical. In the next moment, the 3 divine ghosts turned their heads at the same time. Their ghostly eyes became even redder as they stared at Lin Tian. Even the 2 divine ghosts who had originally sensed the aura of the divine egg in Lin Tian's body were no longer afraid of Lin Tian at this moment. After absorbing the blood essence of several great Tao realm powerhouses, they have become much stronger, Whooshing Crocodile said. Chapter 743. The three divine ghosts had ferocious expressions. At this moment, they were staring at Lin Tian. Their ghostly eyes were ferocious and bloodthirsty. Pitch-black death fog intertwined around their bodies. It was like a gale of the dead that shot towards the sky, making them appear even more terrifying. Kid, can you handle it? Whooshing Crocodile asked. Although the formation that Lin Tian controlled here could kill Great Dao realm experts, these three divine ghosts were even more powerful than ordinary Great Dao realm experts. After devouring the blood essence of several Great Dao realm experts, they were obviously even more extraordinary. It was a little worried. Roar! Almost as soon as it finished speaking, the three divine ghosts roared in unison and pounced towards Lin Tian ferociously. An astonishing aura of death surged, turning into a violent storm that almost knocked Whooshing Crocodile off Lin Tian's head. Instantly, Whooshing Crocodile was enraged. Three little bastards, Aleph, asterisk, CK your mother. Lin Tian's expression was very calm. With a thought, the myriad mystery 8 trigrams formation boiled. Dense killing light gathered towards the center. The patterns of birds and beasts appeared, and the mountains and rivers appeared. They were all condensed from the killing light and landed on the three divine ghosts. With 3 bangs, the three divine ghosts were swept away. However, they stood up in the next moment and roared fiercely. Clang! The killing light of the formation rumbled like a divine sword, once again sending the three divine ghosts flying. They were all in a sorry state. At this time, the 8 stone pillars in the circular corridor shone with the brightest light. Even more patterns were activated, completely trapping the 3 ghost gods in the center. They couldn't escape even if they wanted to, so they could only roar viciously. Is the formation of this place so powerful? Whooshing Crocodile was surprised. The 3 divine ghosts were not comparable to ordinary Great Dao realm experts. But now, they were still suppressed by the formation. It is very powerful. After all, this is the formation that the sacred land used to suppress the source essence vein. Lin Tian on Dao. Whooshing Crocodile was stunned. How did you know? I guessed, Lin Tian said. He channeled the Heavenly One Soul mantra and used his soul energy to activate the 10,000 Mystic 8 trigrams formation, allowing it to unleash its strongest power. Instantly, numerous beams of killing light descended, causing the 3 god ghosts to howl and tremble uncontrollably. Roar! The pitch-black ghostly fog swept out in all directions, corroding a large area of space. The ground began to crumble inch by inch, and cracks instantly spread out. It's too vicious. We can't keep it. Lin Tiandao. These 3 ghost gods were too ferocious. If they were allowed to continue existing, who knew how many living beings would die in the future? Since he had encountered them here and now had the ability to get rid of them, he naturally had to get rid of them. His right leg stomped on the ground and shook slightly. Dragon patterns covered the ground, and in an instant, an ear-piercing dragon roar resounded once again. With him, as the center, dense dragon patterns appeared. Then, endless dark Inchi rushed out from the ground, turning into dozens of pitch-black dragons that directly pressed down on the 3 ghost gods. Barry! He spat out a single word. Previously, while activating the 10,000 Mystic 8 trigrams formation in this place, he secretly laid out a corner of the dragon burial formation. At this moment, he drew in the infinite death aura from the ground. Together with the killing light of the formation, it directly drowned the 3 ghost gods. Boom! Rumbling sounds rang out in all directions. This was a terrifying, murderous aura. The 3 ghost gods roared madly and miserably. However, they couldn't struggle free no matter what. After a few dozen breaths of time, they were all crushed into a thick pool of blood. Whooshing Crocodile stared. So strong? This is really beyond Lord Crocodile's expectations. As it said, it looked at Lin Tian curiously. Kid, You seem to have drawn out the Yin Shi and turned it into a dragon for your own use. How did you do it? Drawing the Yin Shi of the ghost fog for his own use and using it as a killing force. Ordinary people couldn't do such a thing. At least, they couldn't do it to the extent that Lin Tian did. This really made it a little curious. I wanted to do it, so I did it. Lin Tian Dao. Whooshing crocodile suddenly curled its lips. Kid, don't pretend. Be careful not to be struck by lightning. You're talking as if you haven't been struck by lightning. Whooshing crocodile, the formation patterns around them dimmed, and the killing light disappeared. There were only glaring bloodstains on the ground. Lin Tian's eyes flickered as he looked at the ground. Let's go, kid. Don't look anymore. All the treasures here have been taken away. Whooshing crocodile said. What's the hurry? Lin Tian's eyes intertwined with the light of the dragon patterns. Isn't there still a source vein suppressed here? Whooshing crocodile was shocked when it heard this. It heard something else from Lin Tian's words. You found that source vein? Almost. Lin Tian Dao. Dragon patterns spread under his feet. Towering heaven sword chi gathered in his right hand, and he slashed the ground. With a crack, a huge crack appeared on the ground. Suddenly, rolling Yin fog rushed out. At the same time, it was mixed with extremely rich spiritual energy. It was several times more powerful than the spiritual energy of the immortal Lingjing fragment in the stone room. Whooshing crocodile was shocked. This is... Lin Tian's eyes flashed. He continued to slash out with his sword, cutting open a path to the bottom. Long ago, when he entered the space, he used the dragon burial scripture to discover the strangeness of the underground. He felt the rich spiritual energy and guessed that the source vein was suppressed here. At this moment, all the enemies had been killed, and the other cultivators had left. At this time, he could go underground and search for the pure spiritual energy of the source vein. He stared at the ground and took a step down. At the same time, he waved his hand behind him and sealed the opening again. He used his sword to open a path. He went all the way until he was 30 feet underground. Then he stopped and appeared in a spacious area. As far as the eye could see, the densely packed corpses were piled up here. There were several times more corpses than the corpses outside the palace, causing the air here to be extremely cold. Strands of black death mist interweaved in the air. Whooshing crocodile's eyes widened. There are so many corpses here. What's going on? There were too many corpses here, and it was shocked. However, in the next moment, its expression changed again. It looked even further away from the corpses. There, specks of light floated in the air, and the spiritual energy was extremely rich. This spiritual energy, Lin Tian went around the dense corpses and came to the front. There was a circle of light that suppressed the balls of light. The spiritual energy inside was incomparably strong. This is it, Lin Tian Dao. You're saying that this is the source vein that became a spirit? Whooshing crocodile said in surprise. That can't be right. The spiritual energy here is indeed very strong. But how can the spiritual energy of a source vein be so little? Even the spiritual energy of an ordinary source vein is far stronger than the spiritual energy here, right? The spiritual energy here was very rich and strong, but compared to a complete source vein, it was far too weak. Lin Tian said, it's not a complete source vein, but the spiritual energy here is very pure. It's even richer than an immortal vein. It's the spiritual energy condensed by a source vein. As he spoke, he continued to walk forward. In short, don't worry too much. The spiritual energy here is very valuable. If you use it to cultivate, you can climb to a higher level in a short time. He walked forward and placed his right hand on the boundary that suppressed the balls of light. Soul light flickered in his palm. This boundary was formed by the 10,000 mystery 8 trigrams array. He activated the Heavenly One Soul Art and stepped directly into the boundary. Immediately, the dense spiritual energy of the world revolved around him, making him feel as if all the pores on his body had opened up. Even the little fellow in the divine egg inside his body could not help but awaken, and it let out joyful squeaks. Dong! Suddenly, a wave of suppression appeared again, startling Lin Tianyi. He quickly looked at whooshing crocodile above his head. Damn it, the spiritual energy here is too rich. Staying here, Lord Crocodile can't suppress my realm. Whooshing crocodile cursed. As it cursed, its body flickered with demonic light. It suppressed the realm that was about to break through again. Now that it was underground, it was obviously not safe to go through the heavenly tribulation like this. After all, the heavenly tribulation was the biggest disaster for a cultivator. Moreover, it was the second time it had entered the immortal ascension realm. The heavenly tribulation was bound to be more terrifying than before. Why don't you go outside the boundary and wait for me? Lin Tian said. He was really afraid that whooshing crocodile would accidentally break through to the immortal ascension realm in such a rich spiritual energy environment. It would then attract the great path heavenly tribulation. No way. Damn it, the spiritual energy is so rich. But Lord Crocodile can only see it but not use it because I'm worried about the heavenly tribulation. Whooshing Crocodile looked unhappy. It leaped from Lin Tian's head and flew back and forth, saying, Lord Crocodile will treat this spiritual energy as spring water. Lord Crocodile will take a bath here. You can use Lord Crocodile's bath water to cultivate. Lin Tian was speechless. He wanted to slap this ruffian crocodile away on the spot. He took a deep breath and couldn't be bothered with this ruffian. He sat down cross-legged on the spot. This is the second time you are about to enter the immortal ascension realm. The immortal ascension tribulation will be at least twice as terrifying as the previous one. Without any preparation, you should know how bad it will be if you provoke the heavenly tribulation later. He reminded Whooshing Crocodile. Whooshing Crocodile rolled its eyes. Lord Crocodile has a plan. Lin Tian didn't say anything more. He activated the Sun Heart Sutra, and a faint golden light emerged from his body. In this barrier, the sealed spiritual energy suddenly surged toward Lin Tian like a stream of water. It poured into his body through every pore. In the blink of an eye, it covered his flesh and blood. Lin Tianji felt comfortable all over. He almost couldn't help but moan out loud. He quickly calmed his mind and activated the Sun Heart Sutra faster. He used this spiritual energy to cultivate. He seriously tempered the current divine power and used the divine power to forge his physique. At the same time, the sacred egg in his body also moved. The patterns on the surface emitted light. It quickly attracted the spiritual energy here. Golden divine light intertwined outside his body, illuminating the place. Almost all around him were withered bones. Lin Tian cultivated calmly. The aura he exuded became stronger and stronger. Chapter 744. Lin Tianyi was shocked. The images that suddenly appeared in his mind were a little blurry, but he couldn't get rid of them, flashing one after another. He saw a palace crossing the vast sky and finding a source vein that looked like an immortal dragon. A dense crowd of cultivators rushed out from it, and the entire palace was pressed down. Then the image became bloody. The immortal dragon-like source vein roared and churned, causing bursts of blood mist to explode. The dense formation patterns didn't have much effect on it, and cultivators died one after another. In the blink of an eye, corpses fell one after another, and blood dyed the ground and the sky red. Then, in the next moment, a wild roar came from the image. He saw a middle-aged man whose divine power turned dark, his aura skyrocketed, and blood tears flowed from his eyes. He smashed the source vein with one blow, then tore open a crack in the void and threw a dozen cultivators in. Then the ground collapsed, and the corpses began to sink with the palace. The middle-aged man roared and rushed into the palace. The image passed by in an instant and disappeared directly here, which made Lin Tian's expression change. Although it was only for a moment, he saw a lot more clearly. The main body of the palace was called Qiheng, and the middle-aged man in the image was the master of Qiheng. He was also the person he put away in the stone room in the palace. Back then, he failed to suppress the source vein. Seeing the disciples die one by one, he went into demonic mode and forcibly broke through from the ninth layer of enlightenment truth to the nirvana realm. He smashed the source vein and saved the disciples who were still alive. Because he couldn't suppress his demonic nature, he tore open a crack in the void and threw the disciples who were still alive into it. Then, he let the palace sink into the ground and sealed himself in the palace. He was slightly shocked. From those images, he got these things. He looked at the numerous corpses outside the boundary. These are the corpses of the disciples of the ancient crimson's sacred ground. As he muttered to himself, his gaze fell on the source vein essence energy inside the boundary. This is the source vein essence energy left behind by the middle-aged man after he shattered it into a source vein essence energy. Because of the myriad mystery 8 trigrams formation in the palace, it was imprisoned here. So that's how it is? He was moved. He pondered for a moment. The reason why those scenes appeared in his mind should be because of the remnant willpower of that middle-aged man when he had turned into a demon and shattered the source vein into pieces appeared in his mind as he absorbed the source vein spirit chi here. He thought about it. Back then, the crimson eternal holy land was truly very powerful. But in the end, it ended up like that. It was truly a pity. Thinking about it, it was the right choice to come to this place this time. It didn't take too long for him to reach the fourth heaven from the third heaven of the connecting immortal realm. Now, from the fourth heaven of the connecting immortal realm directly to the sixth heaven of the connecting immortal realm, the harvest was amazing. He exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and silently circulated the Sun Heart Sutra, using the remaining trace of spirit chi here to consolidate his cultivation. Buzz! As he stopped cultivating, the golden divine light outside his body became much gentler, but it was purer. His mind was calm, and the circulation of the Sun Heart Sutra slowly calmed down. Dong! At this moment, a loud sound suddenly rang out, and gravel fell. The entire space shook. With a crack, the barrier formed by the myriad mystic 8 trigrams formation collapsed on its own. The space shook even more violently, and large rocks fell from above. Lin Tian opened his eyes, and his expression changed. There was a fierce battle above. Now this place is going to collapse. Master Crocodile knows. Let's go. The whooshing crocodile gritted its teeth and quickly shrank its demon body. It landed on Lin Tian's head and grabbed Lin Tian's hair tightly. Crack! Another crisp sound rang out. The ground in this place collapsed, directly sinking down, revealing a dark abyss. Lin Tian's body flickered with golden light as he rushed up. At the same time, he took out the high heaven sword scripture and slashed out a dense sword gleam, wanting to open a path. However, the outcome was not as he wished. The ground above collapsed, and the falling rocks and soil were too thick. It was as if the sky was pressing down. Although his sword gleam was powerful, it could not cut through such a thick layer of soil in an instant. He felt that the ground above seemed to be collapsing as well. With his current cultivation, it was difficult to cut open a path. Oh my God! Are we going to be buried alive? The whooshing crocodile naturally also noticed this, and its eyeballs almost popped out. Lin Tian looked around and looked at the dark abyss after the ground collapsed. A ray of light flashed from below. Light of scales? There's an underground river below. His eyes lit up. Without any hesitation, the golden divine light around his body boiled and turned into a bolt of lightning that charged into the dark abyss below. Not long after, along with the falling sand and gravel, he heard splashing sounds. Sure enough, there was water flowing down below. After a few breaths, his feet landed on the water surface. There was a large underground river below, and the water flowed through it. Follow the direction of the water flow, and we can walk out of here, he said. Then why are you still talking nonsense? Let's go quickly. After a while, this place will be completely submerged by the layers of soil and rocks. The whooshing crocodile shouted. Above them, huge rocks and layers of soil continued to fall, splashing water everywhere. Lin Tian did not say anything. Golden divine light intertwined on the surface of his body, and he followed the direction of the water flow. With one step, he was dozens of feet away. This dark abyss was very large, and the underground river was like a large stream. The further they walked, the wider it became. This made the man and the crocodile a little surprised. It was the first time they had seen such a large underground river. Ah! A strange cry sounded, and a strange thing rushed out from the bottom of the underground river. With a flash of blood, it attacked Lin Tian. Lin Tian was slightly moved. He raised his hand, and a golden palm print was raised. The golden divine light reflected the monster that rushed out from the underground river. It was a strange creature covered in scales, and its body was intertwined with a dark aura of death. It was directly smashed into pieces by the slap. The underground river below was also affected by the aura of death above, and gradually gave birth to some strange evil spirits. The whooshing crocodile said. Lin Tian nodded and did not say anything. He stepped on the surface of the water and continued to walk in the direction of the water flow. After that, the underground river became wider, and many evil spirits rushed out from the bottom. Their auras were cold, but they were all easily killed by Lin Tian. Then, gradually, because they were far away from that space, no evil spirits rushed out from the water. Time flew by, and Lin Tian stepped on the underground river. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. What the F***CK? What the F***CK is this? I've been walking for half a month, and I still haven't walked out. The whooshing crocodile cursed. What's the hurry? There's nothing to lose. Lin Tian on Dao. How can I not be in a hurry? Your Lord Crocodile is about to cross the immortal crossing tribulation and enter the immortal crossing realm. How can I not be in a hurry? The whooshing crocodile said. Lin Tian did not say anything. He walked silently, following the underground river. Time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. On this day, the underground river's water flow became turbulent, and the water's surface suddenly narrowed. At the same time, a faint light appeared in front of him, and a gap appeared. A glimmer of light flashed in Lin Tian's eyes, and his pace became slightly faster. Soon, he crossed the gap and walked out of the underground river completely. Looking ahead, there was a vast and boundless ocean in front of him. As the wind blew, ripples appeared on the surface of the water and swayed to the distance. Where is this? Lin Tian moved his vision and looked around. For a moment, he was not sure where he was. Chapter 745. Listening to the whooshing crocodile's nagging, Lin Tian was a little speechless. Speaking of which, during the time he was traveling on the underground river, the whooshing crocodile always talked about the tribulation. His ears were about to grow calluses. Got it. I'll look for it right away, he said. He looked forward. There seemed to be a medium-sized island opposite the ocean. The vegetation was not very dense. Let's go there to transcend the tribulation, he said. It seemed that there were not many creatures on the island. It should not be a problem to find an empty place to transcend the tribulation. His speed was very fast. After all, he had reached the sixth heaven of the connecting immortal realm. His abilities in all aspects had been greatly improved. In the blink of an eye, he flew to the island. When he was really close to the island, he found that the vegetation on the island was more sparse than when he looked from a distance. A desolate aura was intertwined in the air. Only occasionally, he could hear the roar of beasts. He levitated on this small island and released his divine sense to explore around. Soon, he found a very empty valley. Okay, here it is. The ground of this valley was very barren. The environment was not much better than the desert. It was very suitable for transcending the tribulation. The whooshing crocodile jumped down from his head. With a flick of its claws, it took out various things and fiddled with them on the ground. It looked cautious and serious. At the same time, Lin Tian also engraved a huge defensive array for it here. Kid, stay away from here. Your Lord Crocodile's bloodline is unparalleled. The Immortal Ascension Tribulation was very unusual. Now that it is the second tribulation, it will be even more extraordinary. If you are implicated, be careful of losing your life. At that time, Lord Crocodile will have to take care of you." The whooshing crocodile said. Lin Tian glanced at it. He was too lazy to say anything to it. He retreated by himself. Seeing that Lin Tian was far away, the whooshing crocodile released its aura. In an instant, the sky became as dark as ink. Boom! Thunder rumbled as bolts of purple lightning intertwined, causing the living beings near the small island to tremble in fear as they looked over in shock. Boom! 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 Thunder rumbled and fell, submerging the valley in the blink of an eye. Whooshing crocodile howled loudly as it resisted the lightning. All kinds of great demonic techniques were unleashed. Lin Tian stood on the top of an old tree in the distance. Gazing into the distance, he saw the purple lightning enveloping the valley. Dense bolts of lightning struck down continuously, distorting the void and sinking the earth. The defensive formation he set up with the cultivation of the sixth heavenly layer of transcending immortality couldn't hold on for long. In the blink of an eye, it was shattered by the purple lightning. Although it is much weaker than my immortal ascension tribulation, it is still very scary. It is far from what ordinary immortal ascension tribulations can compare to. He muttered to himself. Up ahead, whooshing crocodile resisted the heavenly tribulation with all his might. Divine light rushed out from his body, forming an enormous precious pot. Tao radiance interweaved. Lin Tian was slightly surprised. A high-grade Tao weapon. Dong! The sky trembled, and the light of the heavenly tribulation continued to strike, causing the ground of the valley to become scorched in the blink of an eye. The five elements crocodile was not weak. In addition, it had a high-grade Tao weapon in its hand. Soon, it withstood the heavenly tribulation. A seven-colored auspicious cloud flew over. An immortal light fell down, causing the injuries left behind by the heavenly tribulation to heal completely in the blink of an eye. I've reached the immortal ascension realm again. Whooshing crocodile was slightly surprised. It's more than twice as strong as the last time I entered the immortal ascension realm. At this time, its demon body extended to more than 3 feet long. Its scales were surrounded by divine light, looking very extraordinary. Wah! It laughed wildly. The benefits of recultivating like this are not small. When Master Crocodile reaches the peak of Nirvana realm again in the future, who under the Chaos realm can be my opponent. This time, Master Crocodile will definitely be able to enter the chaotic realm quickly and become the king of the world. Maybe I can even enter the 10th heaven. Lin Tian stood in the distance and stared at Whooshing Crocodile's appearance at this time. He really wanted to give it a slap. Whooshing Crocodile's whole body flickered with a faint demonic light. Its purple scales became more crystal clear. The wings behind it had 5-colored luster intertwined. With a gentle shake, a powerful astral wind swept out in all directions. Its power was astonishing. Kid, how is it? Whooshing Crocodile said proudly. Its strength and appearance are not bad. Lin Tian paused, stared at the wings behind Whooshing Crocodile, and said, Why don't you carry me and fly in the future? He said it very vaguely, but Whooshing Crocodile was an old fox. How could it not understand the meaning of his words? Its face immediately darkened. You want Master Crocodile to be your mount? Your grandfather, don't even think about it. What I mean is that you occasionally carry me and fly in the sky. It has nothing to do with being a mount. You think too much. Lin Tian said with a straight face. Whooshing Crocodile stared at him and snorted slightly. Its demonic body quickly shrank, flew back, and landed on top of his head. Lin Tian glanced around and did not stay in this place. He rose into the air and walked away. Kid, Master Crocodile remembers. This is near Sea King Island, at the edge of the sea race's territory. Whooshing Crocodile said. It had been to many places in the 10 Directions Sky domain. Previously, it was busy with the heavenly tribulation and did not pay attention to the surroundings. Now that it had passed the heavenly tribulation and looked around, it naturally remembered that it had come to this place once before. Sea King Island Sea Race. Lin Tian was a little surprised. This place was near the territory of the Sea Race, a race at the same level as the Bone Race and the Witch Race. He remembered that an old drunkard's evaluation of this race was very bad. He shook his head and did not care. It was fine as long as the Sea Race did not provoke him. He asked Whooshing Crocodile, "Is there a place to gain experience nearby?" "You asked the right crocodile. Master Crocodile used to cultivate in this sky domain. I happen to know a very good place to cultivate nearby. It is very suitable for cultivators in the Immortal Ascension realm to gain experience," Whooshing Crocodile said, and pointed to a specific location for Lin Tian. Lin Tian nodded and walked directly to the location given by Whooshing Crocodile. His pace was neither fast nor slow. He stepped into the sky. Soon, he saw a few Sea Race cultivators passing by in the distance. The aura they exuded was not weak. His Highness Saint is really something. It has been a year. How can that pair of siblings still be alive? That is right. That is the Gorge of No Return. For generations, many great Tao masters of the Sea Race have died there. How can that pair of siblings still be alive? That woman is indeed very dainty and stunningly beautiful, but our clan's first Sea Maiden is not much inferior to her. Why is His Highness Holy Son so persistent, insisting on snatching her away? In this past year, he has dispatched a group of clansmen to the Gorge of No Return to stand guard, as if that woman can still walk out. No. A Sea Race cultivator in blue armor suddenly said, "It is not just because of that woman. There are other reasons." "Other reasons? What other reasons?" The blue-armored cultivator from the Sea Race said, "I've heard that the siblings are not simple." Back then, Saint Child had coincidentally encountered that woman and was moved by her beauty, wanting to take her as his own. However, he was almost killed by that woman's elder brother on the spot. If it wasn't for the fact that a grand exalted elder from our great Tao realm had rushed over, Saint Child would have been in danger. Later, that grand supreme elder of our race chased after that pair of siblings but was unable to successfully suppress them. They escaped into the Gorge of No Return. The Sea Race cultivator continued. At that time, in the process of chasing them, that grand supreme elder discovered that the human woman's brother actually had the Thunder God King physique. Now, His Highness Saint not only wants to get that beautiful human woman, but also wants to get that woman's brother's life source. The important figures of our race also support this. What? Almost killed His Highness Saint of our race. Thunder God King physique. A Sea Race cultivator exclaimed in surprise. The Sea Race cultivator in blue armor was shocked and hurriedly said, "Lower your voice. I heard this from a big figure of our race by chance from afar. The news has always been sealed by our race. Not many people know that His Highness Saint was almost killed, and even fewer people know about the Thunder God King physique. If outsiders find out, it will cause a lot of trouble." Lin Tian was very far away from this group of Sea Race cultivators, but his cultivation was powerful. The voices of several Sea Race cultivators still fell into his ears. He immediately stopped in his tracks and looked over, two terrifying rays of light shooting out from his eyes. The Whooshing Crocodile was puzzled. "What's wrong?" Lin Tian did not speak. He stared at the group of Sea Race cultivators in the distance and took a step forward. That pair of siblings. Thunder God King physique. Other than Bai Ziki and Bai Chiu, who else could it be? In just an instant, he arrived in front of this group of Sea Race cultivators. "Who? A human? Rushing in front of us like this? Are you provoking our race?" The Sea Race cultivators were shocked at first, but then they became angry. Cold rays of light intertwined in their eyes. Lin Tian did not say a word. He swept the group of Sea Race cultivators away with a slap, leaving only the Sea Race cultivator in blue armor. He directly grabbed him and searched his sea of consciousness. A moment later, he searched the sea of consciousness of this Sea Race cultivator and found the true appearance of the pair of siblings mentioned by this group of Sea Race cultivators. As expected, it was Bai Ziki and Bai Chiu. The Sea Race cultivator in blue armor was terrified. You actually?" Lin Tian's eyes flashed with cold light. He directly raised his hand and slapped the sea race cultivator, sending him flying into the ocean. He stood in the sky and turned to look toward the southwest. Golden rays of light shot out from his body. With a flash of his feet, he rushed there like a bolt of lightning. "Brett, what happened all of a sudden? Say something." The whooshing crocodile pulled his hair. Two very important friends of mine were forced into a dangerous place by sea race cultivators of the Great Tao. "It has already been a year," Lin Tian said in a low voice. His expression was very ugly. From the sea of consciousness of the blue-armored sea race cultivator, he found the appearance of the pair of siblings they mentioned. They were indeed Bai Ziki and Bai Chiu. The siblings were forced into a place called the Gorge of No Return. As for the Gorge of No Return, from the sea of consciousness of the sea race cultivator, he learned that it was a dangerous place. It was said that once one entered, there was no return. Many great Tao realm cultivators had died there. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.